Conditional inch. Conditional inch. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch. Don't read me. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Election authority.
This code has been popularized.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. The proposed topic for tonight's show was predictions for 2024. And of course, we've had some predictions for this year that we made long ago. Like we expect Joe Biden to exit office sometime around June 1st, 2024. We made that prediction the week he took office, which was after our prediction landed for why he would become number 46 in the election 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. I still think our timeline's good, and I still think around that time we will see Joe Biden exit office early. And the other one we've been talking about for some time is why Donald Trump in 2024 can repeat history and do what Grover Cleveland did, becoming a split-term president. Of course, Grover Cleveland was the 22nd and 24th president, and here we are in 2024, and Trump announced he was officially running in 22. And of course, in Gematria, Cleveland equals 78, like insurrectionist, and Trump will be 78 at the time of the next election, November 5th, going with the 78 cards in the tarot deck, and the Trump cards being associated with the tarot deck. So expect Trump to trump them all, or at least I do, in the next rig selection. And, you know, other things we've been talking about is just the way the war drum keeps beating and building. Xi Jinping at the end of 2023 says that Taiwan will be reunited with China, even if force must be used. And we know on Pearl Harbor Day at the end of this year, 2024, will be the 75th anniversary of the separation of China and Taiwan. So I think if fireworks happen there, it's around that time. But that might have to wait until 2025. So we'll see. But yeah, rather than make it all about my predictions, you guys are welcome to call in tonight. The number to call in. Actually, I just realized, if you're watching on YouTube, I put up the wrong number on the screen to call in. If you'd like to call in tonight, it is 213-233-3998. Again, that is the TFR call board number every Wednesday night. And again, if you've never called TFR, it's a good time to call in because it's first come, first serve. And right now, there's just a handful of people on hold, and it looks like a lot of the usual suspects. But yeah, call in tonight if you got some predictions for 2024. Let's hear it. We can all listen back to this stream, assuming Google hasn't taken it down by the end of the year, and see who was on the money, who might have been close, and maybe who was way off. But first up tonight, our good friend in New York. How you doing tonight? 347.
Hey, what's up, Zach? Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. So what do you think about the Epstein list that's supposed to come out today?
Well, if you've been watching the news, they said, well, everything on the list is what we already knew. And that's what I kind of thought. I was like, well, what more could there be to reveal? I mean, they've already shown all of his associates. So it was just some kind of bait. And if people missed it, the judge who's responsible for the latest news. Of course, she's Jesuit educated at Fordham. But so far it doesn't sound like there's anything new at all. Fox News' top headline is that somewhere in there's a statement about how it was revealed between a conversation between Bill Clinton and Epstein that Clinton likes him young. So doesn't sound like anything we haven't heard for the last 30 years.
Okay, my next topic. Okay, you had the earthquake in Japan, right? And right after the earthquake, you see that airline crashed, right?
And right with regards to the plane, so they were saying at least 4 people died in the earthquake, and then you have 4 minutes of terror with the plane, and they're saying that the times of tragedy for the plane were between the minutes 5:43, plane crash equals 43, and 5:47, so 4 minutes of terror, at least 4 people dead in the earthquake. 4 is associated with death in Japan. And again, for anyone who missed our work on the earthquake, you can definitely go back and check out that ritual for New Year's Day. Doesn't look like it was Mother Nature, but did you notice anything about the plane crash other than what I just said?
I didn't hear you, Zach.
I said, did you notice anything else about that plane crash story outside of what I just brought up?
Yeah, I'm just shocked that nobody on the plane died. It's the only people that died was the 5 coach pilots.
And here's my point about it. They keep talking about it, right? They keep showing the footage over and over, the plane bursting into flames. They keep talking about how heroic the staff was to get everybody off and nobody died. Well, you would think there'd be a little bit of footage of the evacuation of the plane. I mean, they keep showing the same thing over. I haven't seen any evacuation. I mean, that footage should be there. So where's that at? So I tend to think this is more Hollywood theater, just more contrived crap like everything else in the news. Again, all it ever is in the news is stories with no proof. I mean, the way that thing's burst into flames, nobody died from that. I mean, the whole fire's coming out of the windows and everything. I mean, it's hard to believe, but absolutely zero footage of an evacuation. So that could be the latest clip for the next Hollywood film, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Zach, that's all I have for tonight.
Yeah, and by the way, 5:43. Anything interesting about that time besides just how plane crashes for? Isn't it kind of like a countdown?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I noticed about the story.
All right, Zach. That's it.
All right. Yep. Take care. Yeah, anybody let me know if I'm wrong, if there is some footage out there of an evacuation. CNN just kept showing the same clip over and over tonight, the plane bursting into flames and talking about the heroic evacuation. It's like, okay, so where's the different footage of the heroic evacuation? I want to see it. Nothing. Let's go out to 810.
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
It's going all right.
Sorry about that. I had to make sure I was unmuted. Happy New Year. So I don't have any predictions. That's too crazy. Anyway, we got this AM radio. My phone is off, my cell phone, and I'm battling PT&T. Well, it used to be AT&T. Anyway, we got this local radio station here, and this guy was talking about the Lions game, and he said, "It's not a conspiracy. It was just a mistake."
Oh, yeah.
So I don't watch football. I don't even have TV. I didn't see the game. But then I heard there was some big mistake at the end of the game. The Lions were supposed to win, and then they lost. Can you kind of talk about that?
So for a moment, it looked like the Lions won. It looked like the 2-point conversion was successful. There were 41 total points in the game. Had Detroit won, that would have been, if I'm not mistaken, their 41st win versus the NFC East, where in Gematria, Dallas equals 41, like how the city was established in 1841. But instead, they took away the 2-point conversion, and then they failed on the next attempt, which left it at 39 points in the game on LeBron James's 39th birthday, a man who is a big fan of the Cowboys and celebrated the win on social media, and that was one of the things we were looking at as well. Cowboys playing on LeBron's birthday only Saturday game, and then sure enough, on his 39th birthday, his team prevails with 39 points on the board. And the other thing that's interesting is it was number 68 who supposedly didn't check in, who did catch the winning 2-point conversion before they took it away, and in Gematria basketball equals 68. So it just makes you wonder.
Yeah. What about that Michigan-Alabama game? Anything there?
It was all about the 46 in that one. It was a tough game to call because 13 is Alabama's number, which historically wins. But we knew at the beginning of this year there was a big narrative for both Harbaughs. So here's how beautiful it was. In Gematria, Michigan equals 46, just like how they had to call Michigan for number 46, who supposedly won the election. But Harbaugh came into that game with 46 losses and stayed on it. Now he's in the championship in Houston, Texas, which equals 46. The date numerology was 46. It was the first Rose Bowl for Alabama in California since 1946. And sure enough, it went to overtime 2020. We were big on the over for that game because the over-under was set at 45.5. We love the over at least 46 points. And sure enough, in overtime, Michigan rushed in the 46th points of the game. So it was a perfect script. And then you got a Harbaugh in the championship along with a purple team, like how his brother coaches the Baltimore Ravens in Maryland, which is right there where Washington, D.C. is. So you have Washington versus Michigan. And if you want to know about the Washington win as well, Steve Sarkisian, who lost with Texas, he started out with Washington. Both coaches were 49 years old. Washington equals 49. And the loss for Steve Sarkisian, who's now the Texas coach, he got his 49th career loss against Washington. And the Washington coach got his 37th career win. Sugar Bowl equals 37. And, of course, Washington won with 37 points. And year in and year out, we're showing how college and NFL are scripted together. And, again, it seems quite obvious with this one. You know, making matters even more funny, Harbaugh got his 88th win in that game, and Maryland equals 88, where his brother coaches. Purple equals 88, in light of him facing Washington, and George Washington also equals 88, of course, what Washington State's named after. So those are the primary observations about those games.
Cool. I'm glad you went into the Washington because I didn't know who won that game and who they were going to be playing. So what about Rochester, New York, and that car bombing or car explosion crash?
Yeah, it's I did a little post on that. It's the second weird story like that. Because you might recall just before Thanksgiving, Buffalo, not far away, had the person with the Bentley crash on the Rainbow Bridge and mess up traffic.
Falls.
Right, that's not that far from Rochester. So this is the second story of a high-speed, weird collision. They said the SUV in the Rochester crash was full of gas canisters. And, the thing that stood out to me is the Kodak Center where the crash happened, just the gematria of Kodak Center, equates to 107 and 44, which are huge military numbers, and 44 and 64, which are huge kill numbers, and 190, which is a huge chaos number, so... But yeah, I didn't look that deeply into it. It's just that and the Rainbow Bridge story both got me humming and hawing, so...
So there you go, the Rainbow Bridge, and now this one, I was on Liberty Tree Radio earlier today, and they were reading an article about it, and it was real weird, but what they said was the car that blocked him, from going into whatever, they saved people, it was, what was, this couple... The way they said it, it was just so weird. They got to spend their last moments together, Justina and Joshua, with their passion and blah blah blah. And it just reeked of a tranny story to me, Justina, and. That just sounds like a fake name, like a dude would name himself that if he turned himself into a chick.
Sure.
And it's like they saved the day, you know, by blocking this guy from crashing into whatever he was going to crash into, and they died saving the world or whatever, you know.
Sure.
Anyway, I just thought that the guy driving was he driving a rental? His car was parked at the airport, and he was driving a rental, and he made multiple. The article said he made multiple trips to different places to buy gas and gas canisters. It's like, wait a minute, what gas canisters? What do you have? You know, propane, or, you know, I mean, what kind of gas canisters? Who calls a gas can a gas canister?
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was kind of weird.
Indeed.
Anyway, so I figured that guy who had the gas canisters, he blew a tranny on the way home from work that day.
Yeah.
Or blew up a tranny.
Another little inside joke for another agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Have a good one, brother.
All right. Appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
All right.
By the way, for whatever reason, in him talking about that, what he's talking about just reminded me. So, sweet lady, coworker told her she should check out this show on Amazon called Absentia. So we've been watching it for the past couple of weeks. We finished the first season. We're midway through the second season, and there's parallels to this show and Utopia, which Amazon remade. What the first season is about is a professor at MIT who runs an orphanage who secretly is funded by the government to torture the right young people to make them into the right type of candidate to turn them into government super soldiers, right? So it's like, oh, here's another nice show from Amazon about the government using orphanage kids to, again, create super soldiers for agendas. And I've been speculating on this, having worked at a major group home in the Seattle area where the only time those children ever got adopted, they always got adopted to the northeast of the United States, like the Connecticut, New York area. And I was like, what is with this? Like, how come these kids never get adopted anywhere nearby? I mean, Seattle's got a lot of parents, I would think. So anyhow, I just thought, here's another show. And then we're only midway through season 2, but the last episode we watched, what's going on is the FBI is doing a cover-up because somebody placed a military killer who uses fentanyl to take out people, including celebrities. Like, he takes out supposedly a New England Patriots player. But the FBI places him in a situation, and then there's a cover-up, and they have to keep it secret. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm sure eventually in the season you'll find out this is kind of like one of those super soldiers that the MIT professor was helping cultivate. But, yeah, again, just the way they put this stuff in entertainment, and then, you know, your friend and family member who thinks it's all Hollywood, it's like, no, this isn't all Hollywood. This is obviously the same type of stuff that's going on in this world. And again, I mean, they raise these people to be suicidal killers is kind of what you learn, just like in Utopia. And so you see these weird stories where people are just, you know, driving a vehicle at high speed to create some act of destruction on a holiday to shut down traffic. And you know, I mean, it's what it makes me think of. Like, who else would do stuff like this other than people who were raised to do this? I mean, there could be other explanations, to be fair, but at the same time, I think these are things that are definitely taking place in the world. So if you haven't seen that show, just another thing that's interesting that's been put out there for the masses. And that said, let's see, we got about 7 minutes till the break. Let's go out to 980. 980, you're on.
Hey, brother, how's it going, man? Happy New Year.
Oh, hey, good to hear your voice. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I didn't really want nothing big today. I was just a quick comment about I'm still basically on people trying to prepare for the Civil War, and I'm starting to realize this. I know who it is for. It's the American people versus the illegal immigration.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that's what it's really about. I think that's why the border has to stay open, because they can close it when they want to. Because they took some delegation. What's this new Congress dude? Mike Johnson, whoever he is. I don't know what this dude's name is. But regardless, they took they said it's supposed to be in the big congressional council going out to what's that place? Either the Eagles Pass. Is that where they supposed to be coming through the border the most?
That's a common place that they go to. Yeah, that Eagle Pass.
I think that's where they were going. But regardless, not a one illegal crossing while they're there. Not a one.
Right.
So that just lets you know they really just control all of these narratives they sell. Same way they cleaned San Francisco up before China came, just real quick. Like, if you could do all of that real quick, then why don't that just get done?
Exactly.
Yeah, man, these people have to realize, man, they don't understand. These people are some very sick people. But what I was going to say is that that's what I'll be needing help on, is how do I try to figure out what the numbers is for that? Because they actually said what that delegation is. And I know it got something to do with some numbers. I just didn't know what numbers to really be chasing down for that. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think a lot of people have problems with. Like, you know that it's going by the numbers, but how do you trace some of these situations when you know it? Because it's odd the way they report this stuff. So you know it got to be something to
it. Sure. Eagle Pass, right? I mean, the Eagles associated with the country. You got Mike Johnson. Again, for people to know, Mike Johnson equals 56th Speaker of House, but he's down there on what day? January 3rd, a lot like 13, like the 13 stripes. I imagine that's a big part of the ritual of having him down there today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I figured that. I said, that should be something they're going by. Because I tell people, I guarantee you, I don't care what you see on that television that's going by the numbers, they will not even report this stuff to you if it ain't linked up to some kind of ritual. I started to realize that's just how our news is. Our news is the ritual.
Sure. And just to make a point on rituals and news, again, today Trump appeals to the Supreme Court about being removed from the Colorado ballot. And you should be going, well, why didn't he also appeal about what happened in Maine? But today's just right for Colorado because it's 163 days to his birthday, which is the 38th prime. Like Colorado's the 38th state. Like Colorado equals 38. Like election equals 38. And it's also 43 weeks and days. You run it the other way. You run it in reverse. Colorado and election equal 43 instead of 38. So, again, does he appeal next week 42 weeks and days at Maine? Because Maine has the Gematria 42. Highly probable.
Oh, yeah, and I meant to tell you that, too. Oh, my God. Not the last Lion game. What was that Lion game before we just played? Because, I'm from Detroit, so I stay on what's going on with them Detroit numbers. But I'll be trying to tell people about 42. And
you're talking about the Pistons ending the losing streak? The Pistons ending the losing streak?
Well, no, I ain't even talking about that one. I was still talking about the Lions because they won that. I think they scored, they either scored 42 or the final score was 42 points. But I was explaining to people how that 42 is so symbolic with Detroit. So, and I got IPTV, so I watched Detroit's television when I watched the games. So I'm watching Detroit. So as soon as the game went off, they was like, man, as soon as the news came on, I swear to God, they just like, it's a cool 42 degrees outside. So I'm like, damn, they went right to 42. They went immediately on Detroit television to 42 degrees outside. Zach, I swear on everything I love.
I see that a million times. I don't doubt it.
47 degrees. It was not 42.
Sure. No, I've seen it a million times. They beat the Broncos with 42. They won 42-17, so you even got the 59 points in there. Detroit on the 42nd parallel, Motown in 59. And they always use those white Broncos in race rituals. And again, it goes back to O.J. Simpson and the white Bronco chase, and Orenthal equals 42. So I'm sure that's where they were going with that one.
Yeah, and as soon as the news came on, they was like, it's a cool 42 degrees outside. Man, it was not 42 degrees. I went on my phone to check Detroit thing because, like I said, my kids still stay there. I checked the temperature. So it was 47 degrees. And it's Detroit television. So I look on the bottom of their screen, and you know how they have the time and the logo and the temperature. Man, it was 47 degrees on the temperature too. So they just said it was 42 degrees, period. That's just what they wanted to say. It wasn't 42 degrees.
I can't tell you, when I lived in Seattle in this time of year, it was like, it felt like the vast majority of days they'd report almost every day it was 47 degrees outside. It's like, doesn't anyone catch on? We're on the 47th parallel, just every day it's 47 degrees. I mean, come on.
Man, they said that 42 like that, and they just moved straight on to it. You know, it wasn't the weather people, no nothing. This is how the newscaster came on. And because you know they about to start talking about the Lions, and they talking about, and it's 42 degrees outside, a cool 42. Man, when I looked at that television, it said 47 on the bottom of their screen. Then I went to my phone. My phone said it was 47 degrees in Detroit. I was like, these people really are programmed. The new, everything they giving to you on the television is through a program. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. I'm like, man, they don't give you nothing that ain't programming. It's all calculated by these numbers. So I'll be honest with you, we're doomed. We're doomed. No, we're seriously doomed, man, because the average person don't understand the magnitude of these numbers. They keep concentrating on all this other crazy shit. I had to tell them on that TikTok the other day. Why do y'all keep worrying about the policies? These people are past policies.
We're going to the commercial break, but we'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
I learned very young from my parents, absolutely, that you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's going to be laid better than this brick that I'm going to lay in this next 10 minutes. Yeah. And you do that every single day until you have a wall. And I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big the task is. The task is never huge. It's always one brick. Me too.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
I'm tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. No.
Frequency Radio.
All right, I'm going to assume the music's over. Normally we'd hear music there, but we're not hearing it. So again, if you're just listening on TFR, it's right, but I don't want to talk over it. Anyway, we are going to be taking calls all night. Topic tonight is your predictions for 2024. And let's get back out to it. Let's also let our friend finish, who was just on the line, because he did get cut off by the break. But all right, friend from Detroit, you were saying?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Zach. I didn't really. I was just saying nothing we see ain't bad program. I'm gonna end it, and then you can. I'll let you collaborate some more because I do like hearing your opinion. So I'll let you go and get these callers in. But tell me, we got Black History Month coming up. And I've been trying to tell people about the 39 between. It's kind of hard for me to explain it to them because, I ain't as versed as you. But a little quick rundown through the 39 about the Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And you can go ahead and mute me and go ahead and get me off of here now. But if you want to elaborate on that some more while you get ready to go to the next caller, that'd be good. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, just since he asked about 39, again, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. were both assassinated at age 39, and both of their names were not their birth names that we know them by. Malcolm X was not his birth name. Martin Luther King Jr. was not his birth name. Both of their names in Gematria equate to 93, the reflection of 39. My theory has always been Old Testament. Again, the oldest person in the Old Testament is Methuselah, who's black. And just like right now, I got this Fox News page up here if you're watching us on YouTube, and it's got Claudine Gay, who stepped down yesterday, January 2nd. She resigned as the president of Harvard, and today they're making it about race. Fox News is mocking her for playing the race card. Yesterday they were pretty much applauding her resignation for her being an anti-Semite, and of course Fox News gets on their knees harder than any news network for the six-pointed star, but it was just such an obvious ritual yesterday. She stepped down 151 days after her birthday, and in Gematria, anti-Semitism equals 151, and she's been connected to anti-Semitism for supposedly not being strict enough against these college students who are protesting in favor of Gaza. And again, it's really annoying to witness this, but I think the truly sick joke is, again, just the stolen identity. Who are the real, I think the real anti-Semitism is what the people who've been controlling the media have been doing to black people for the last however long the TV's been in existence, and before that, the papers. So it's kind of just like watching in real time backwards history, mockery, and I know a lot of you guys who do follow my channel, you get annoyed that I make that claim, but the reason I make that claim is because I think it's right. I think it's true. And I think all the evidence is there to support it. Again, there's one physical description of Jesus in the Bible, and you should ask yourself why that is, if he's even a real person, but there's only one physical description, and it describes him with darker skin and hair like wool, and he's from Judea. So, based on that description, I got to think he's got a little African in him, you know what I mean? And meanwhile, in every church, there's white Jesus or Caesar Borgia, and we all know what they did to Tupac on Caesar Borgia's birthday. So, but hey, me talking about these things at this day and age could be anti-Semitic. It could be hate speech. It could be a reason to have another video taken down and another TFR episode lost that is no longer on YouTube in the archives. So, anyway, Let's go out to 205. What's up, 205?
Hey Zach, I don't really have a prediction. I was just calling to share something creepy that happened to me a few years ago. It's not really that important, but I just figured I'd tell you anyways. I think that the Parkland shooter was modeled after me.
Oh, okay. You know, and just real quick before we go into that, I just want to remind people they told you the majority of victims at Parkland were in room 1214. Then they put out a media of older kids walking in a line with their hands on their shoulders like they gave you the younger kids at Sandy Hook, which happened on 1214. And they said that 1214 was Holocaust remembrance class. But anyhow, go ahead.
But yeah, I was looking into it, and the dude's middle name is my name. There's some overlaps between me and the shooter, and he kind of looks like me. And what really creeped me out was he was listening to this song. They said it was some obscure song from this obscure band that I listened to. I did. Like, no one listens to that band. It was so creepy because it's so, like, that song is just so obscure. It was the N1 Panzermensch song, and they said that he was listening to that song while he was shooting the kids or whatever. And I was like, damn, because like back in 2018, like I used to post your work everywhere. Like I used to spam it everywhere, and I guess they're just trying to fuck with me or something, you know, like putting that little detail in there. I guess they hacked my shit and saw, hey, this kid likes to listen to that song, and had to just put it in there just to probably just mess with me or something. I don't know, or maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know. I just thought it was a just interesting overlap, and I just wanted to share it with you.
All right. Well, appreciate you calling in. You have a good night.
All right. You too, then.
All right, take care. All right. Let's go out to George, 707.
Hello.
George, you're on.
Yes. Excuse me. Okay. Hello, Zach.
You're on,
Zach?
George. Yep, you're on.
Sorry about that. I had to turn my volume up. Well, Happy New Year's.
Happy Catholic New Year.
Well, yes. Happy Christopher Columbus Gregorian New Year's. Okay, so I know you've covered that before. So I just had a couple of things to bring up. Over the weekend, I saw the latest Godzilla film, -1. And, gee, do you think they could have used that for predictive programming for what's gone on over the last few days?
What is it?
On Saturday, I saw the latest Godzilla film, Godzilla -1. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but there's a scene involving a plane, basically a World War II aircraft, that basically you assume engages in a suicide mission, but I guess you'll have to see it. But of course, you know, there's all sorts of eruptions and explosions going on in Japan in this film, and as there have been in the 36 previous Godzilla films.
Okay.
So my question was, do you think this latest Godzilla film could have been predictive programming for what's gone on in Japan with the earthquake and the supposed plane crash?
Yeah, it could have been.
I just had a couple. Okay, I just had a couple of tidbits to share with you. I realize you're going back a week, 10 days with the death of Richard Romanus and Morris Hines. Morris, as you mentioned, was the older brother of Gregory Hines. Greg Hines is probably best known for History of the World, Part 1. And the Hines grew up Roman Catholic. Also, Richard Romanus grew up Catholic. It wasn't Roman Catholic. He was Lebanese Catholic, Marian, you know, whatever they called him. And he went to Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd share those tidbits with you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm sure I just want to mention one of them. As you know, I guess this Saturday will mark the 3-year anniversary of January the 6th. And yep, it's funny. Generally, one of the things that you've said over the years is that we live, those here in America, we live in the United States of amnesia. However, why is it they like, if it's important to the agenda, they like bringing up stuff that happened a while ago? January the 6th was, as I said, almost 3 years ago.
Well, again, it's about, cementing the narrative that's also going forward, this contrived civil war. So.
Okay, well, you have other callers, and I guess I'll talk to you soon.
All right, George. You have a good night. Somebody asked, what's this story about on the cover of Fox? Let's see. Gruesome discovery. Former 80s rock musician arrested after girlfriend's body found in California woods. Theobald Theo Lengel, saxophonist for Mr. Bungle. I see he's 54. The girlfriend was 61. The word rock is 61, let him be a former rock star. We'd have to take a look at it. But yeah, that is a headline at the moment. So far, I don't think we've had any predictions from the callers, so let's try out the next. 215, you're on. Philadelphia. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, it was my fault.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. You're good, 215.
So I wanted to, how you doing, Zach? This is Isaiah. I'm calling in from Philadelphia. This is my first time calling in. I've been following you for like 2 years now. My name is SBEZ. But yeah, I got a prediction. I like Houston, the Cowboys. They might actually go to the Super Bowl, I think. Have you ever looked up the Gematria of Star? It has 58 and 13.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that is any reference to, but it was another thing I wanted to talk about. Travis Scott, he had a concert in Philadelphia the same day that the Eagles played Dallas. And I thought that was weird.
Okay. Again, if you're right about the Cowboys being in the Super Bowl, it'll be another year where the halftime performer was the major clue. Again, Usher, who's the halftime performer, was born in Dallas. And as Kayla pointed out the other day, shout out to Kayla Decode Talker, she said one of his hit songs is Confessions, which is quite fitting for the Super Bowl being on the Vatican's birthday. So, anyhow, go ahead.
Right, and it's also the date numerology is or the date, the month is 2, and the number 2 is 58 and 13. So that was weird. I'm like, damn, it's kind of looking crazy. Like they got and not just that, they have a lot of other numbers too, like that kind of real interesting numbers. I also like LeBron and the Celtics in the finals. I like that prediction. If not them, I'm thinking either Luka with Dallas. They all got interesting numbers, man. But I just wanted to call in and just say, man, like I was nervous as shit, man, to call in for like 2 years, bro. But like you really, I actually learned about you from my brother. He was watching your page. I'm not even sure if he's on your Patreon anymore, but he was watching your page one day, and like for the longest time, like I just ignored it, you know, like I ain't really pay attention to it. And then one day, like I just watched a video like on my own, and I just was like, I was locked in ever since, man. Like So I just wanted to call in and say, like, thank you, man. Like, you know, you definitely reaching new people. You know, I was like I said, I was just scared to call in. You know, like I ain't really, but like, you know, it was, I don't know, like it was weird, but I'm glad I did it though. Now, you know what I'm saying, like I'm really interested in doing the work like every day. Like it's weird because like even my family, like I'll be trying to like put them on the knowledge, and they'll be just like like they'll just be like they won't care about it. Like you feel me? And it's like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like how you don't even like blink an eye about this shit. Like it's just like it's weird, man. Like it's just weird. But like I try to do this shit every day, man. Just see how it line up with the news and sports and everything. I'd be like, this shit is wild. And I probably I want to say it might have been like around the Kobe death that got me, you know, on it. Like I felt like the sports shit just was kind of getting too weird. You feel me? I ain't know that it was fake, but it just started seeming too weird, like how the games were going and how the teams will play. Like I was a big basketball fan. Like I used to go to games and all of that shit. Like I don't do that shit no more, but I used to go all the time. I mean, and I would just tell like how the certain like the home team or whatever, they would just not play hard at all. Like you could just tell like they was just giving that shit up. Like I'm like, that's crazy.
Harold, did you watch the Alabama-Michigan playoff game?
I didn't, but I like Michigan. I kind of was telling people at my job, like, yeah, Michigan, they got the numbers, you know, like, and with the whole Detroit thing, you know, turning 322 years old, I'm like, they doing a lot of stuff right now that you know, that the numbers is kind of, you know, saying they would do. You feel me? And I like the hardball thing. That kind of made me think, you know, the Ravens would be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, very possible.
You said, that's a crazy connection, man. Like that's a crazy connection with the all I-95 stuff. Like I'm in Philly, so it's like, but I don't pay attention to the news and stuff. So when I watch like your channel and I see all of this shit that's like even, you know, connected to my own city, I'll be like, the guy that got killed in Kensington or whatever, Eddie Rosario or whoever that was, like that shit was crazy. Like I didn't know that was like a whole, you know, I thought that was just something that happened, you know, in Philly one day because I kind of hear that shit every day. So like I didn't know that there was whole like numbers behind it, and you get what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Like I didn't know them people personally or anything, but that was crazy. Like I'm like, it's just wild. Like.
Yeah, for people who forgot, I-95 in Philadelphia burned down June 11th or collapsed, and that was exactly 35 weeks before the Super Bowl, and historically that's an important number in Super Bowls. Packers won the first Super Bowl with 35 points. But anyway, caller, thank you to you and your brother, and just so you know, you didn't sound nervous. I thought maybe you might be because you said the Houston Cowboys, but I know you mean the Dallas Cowboys. So, anyway.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good. I knew exactly what you meant, and I thought, well, maybe that's what's going on. But, yeah, you sound great on the phone, so next time you call in, you don't need to feel nervous at all. And do call us back. But I appreciate you and your brother, so thank you.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Zach, for all your hard work.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have a good night. Thank you. All right. For all the people in the chat making fun of the Houston Cowboys, I know a lot of you guys never call into the show. Let's hear you on the air. Come on. Come on. We can't be making fun of the callers if you don't call in yourself. Let's go out to 561. What's up, 561?
Hey, what's up, Zach? This is BPST3 on the CashApp. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that last caller, the 215, I can definitely relate to him to a T. Been following your work for actually just a little over 2 years now. He's definitely revealed a lot of spells to me, and I do thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yep. As far as me calling in, I did want to share something based on the the race car death earlier in the week with the IndyCar driver.
Oh, yeah.
Won the Indy 500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to elaborate on a racing decode. Now, it does date back to June. It was for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is in France. And just got a couple breakdowns I wanted to go over with you here. Let me get my notes pulled up. Okay, so this was 50 years since a Ferrari had won at Le Mans. It was car number 51. Ferrari equals 51. Now, I don't want to throw a bunch of different numbers at you. I'm trying to keep it centralized here. So 50 was a big one. Race car equals 50 in the reverse cipher. WEC, which is the sanctioning body, that equals 50 in reverse. What's 50 years since Ferrari won at Le Mans? And Brady, who attended, equals 50 in the ordinal cipher. A couple other things that stood out to me: Motorsports equals 64, Le Mans equals 64, Enzo Ferrari equals 72, like Jesuit order. The race was on 6/10 of 23, which, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 14 date numerology. WEC equals 14.
Okay.
So that's just, I know I'm throwing a bunch at you. This is my first decode. I'm a racing fan at heart. I know these big races are by the numbers, especially when you got Brady and LeBron in attendance and whatnot. So I figured it was something to dive into. Just kind of wanted your thoughts on it.
Well, your math was right, and I think you're making good observations. I don't know a whole lot about racing personally, but yeah, keep at it. Sounds like you got it down. So.
Yeah. I'll keep up with the work. Keep doing what you're doing. I know with trolls and whatnot, and just the idiots that pop up in the chat. Just disregard all that stuff and keep doing what you do. Again, I can attest based on the last caller. That's kind of my thoughts exactly. Same type of nervousness on the phone. Haven't called into you, but nonetheless, you'll be hearing from me again soon.
All right, I look forward to it. You have a good night. Keep up the good work.
All right, thanks, Zach.
Yeah, take care. But by the way, I forgot one other thing about the Michigan-Alabama game that's a very key detail, maybe the most key detail. We were talking about that long list of 46s in Michigan's favor. Star Michigan former quarterback Tom Brady, he's 46 years old right now. Again, Gematria, it's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Michigan has values of 46 and 152. The game that Michigan won was on the 152nd day of Brady being 46 years old. And 24 years ago to the day before Brady was in the NFL, he was the Michigan quarterback, and he beat Alabama in overtime, just like how Michigan just beat Alabama in overtime. And again, they beat him in overtime, rushing in the 46th points of the game. So, and what I was asking the other caller if he watched the game is if you missed the game, I mean, you got to see that college is scripted too. If you watch the way Alabama lost the game, the last play of the game, I mean, there's just no way you could ever explain it. You could probably find 5,000, that's probably a severe understatement. You could probably find at least 50,000 children in America that play football that would have given a better effort than the Alabama quarterback did at the end of the game. And by the way, I mean, how can that guy even be the quarterback of Alabama? He apparently doesn't know how to throw a football because he didn't have a single pass all game. He's like a designated running back. But the final play of the game, if you missed it, was he got the snap, didn't look for any receivers, and immediately just ran forward into a pile of Michigan linemen. I mean, there was just nowhere to go. He just instant game over. And it looked like he could have ran to the side. Looked like the whole field was open over there. So it's like, how can this guy be the quarterback of a top football program, Alabama college football, and seemingly doesn't know how to play football or quarterback? I mean, I didn't watch the whole game, but I didn't see that guy throw one pass that went more than 5 feet down the field. It was almost every play was almost him running. And then there was one play where it was like the worst run ever, and then he fumbled. It's like, what are you doing? Like, sub somebody else in. Remember when you took out Jalen Hurts? Who's this Jalen guy? Don't you have somebody else to sub in? Isn't there anybody on the team that knows how to throw the football? Anyway, it's a joke. Sports are a joke. If there's money on games in America, those games are rigged. End of discussion, period. You got to be brain dead to not see it. And that's the problem. Just most people are brain dead. Let's go out to 404. What's up, 404?
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was calling the guy, I think he is from Detroit, called, and he predicted about the Civil War.
Okay.
I think he said it would. Okay. I wanted to speak on that. I don't know what's going to go down with that in America, but I followed British news for a very long time, very in depth, and I wanted to also give you a website that is better than BBC, but I see you use CNN a lot, and I would say it was an equivalent to a CNN. It's called LondonEveningStandard.com. And I think they're a great predictor of what's coming to this country, what is happening there. I think they're about 5 to 7 years ahead of us. And I also, I believe they have a completely different immigration system than America, or I should say immigration differences. I'm sure you know about Merkel and how she opened the gates in 2015.
I'm not sure I do know about that.
Okay. The EU in 2015, I can't remember what caused it. There was a war in Syria, I believe. Anyway, tons of refugees came in, and Merkel was more than welcoming and for all of them to come to Germany. And there was, I believe it ended up 1 million. I believe the year was 2015 it happened. And she gave them all status, to be citizens. Well, it didn't work out very well.
Hold on. Caller, we're having one of these things where there's supposed to be
My name is Ella.
I'll get you after the commercial break. We'll be right back.
I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. With the whole world watching, who do you believe?
So let me just say that there was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it. I mean, Hillary Clinton. People know that. But the main thing, there was no collusion. There's zero collusion. With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? That being said, all I can do is ask the question. What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? Where is the server? What is the server saying? Where is the server? I don't think you can go on without finding out what happened to the server. One server. We want to see the server. What is the server saying? Where is the server? I don't think you can go on without finding out what happened to the server. What is the server? We want to see the server. 33,000 emails gone. It's gone. I think in Russia they wouldn't be done so easily. But I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in denial. With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? That being said, all I can do is ask the question. What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? Where is the server? What is the server saying? Where is the server? I don't think you can go on without finding out what happened to the server. One server. We want to see the server.
Into the frequency.
You're protected from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been popularized.
Okay, I'm imagining we're clear to speak again. Let's go out to 404 who got interrupted. They brought up this network, the Standard. You're back on, friend.
Okay, awesome. So I saw you pulled the website. I thought that would just be a good one for you to check if you want to see what's going on in London. It's fascinating, man. But in 2015, anyone can Google it or research it. They actually call it the year of Europe's refugee crisis. And like I said, they all flooded into Germany. But in Europe, that means you can go all through Europe. So that includes England as well. And that was a huge reason behind Brexit, was because of that occurrence. So, if your listeners want to look into that. But I don't know what will happen in America. I do know in England, though. I don't know if you follow any British news at all, or if you have any British listeners. But it's been crazy. They've had a lot of rioting in the streets, and they have a different sort of immigration problem than America, just because they do get African tribes and Pakistani tribes as well do exist. So it can become a little violent at times. So they are having some issues, and you can look into it. It's been on social media. I mean, there's videos of just what I would consider rioting myself, but what they are calling protesting. So just very interesting. I believe they're kind of ahead of where we are. They are in a totally different situation than America. But I think that the guy who called from Detroit is maybe on the money. And, maybe it comes down to between, I think he said, the people immigrating here and the American citizens. And he may be correct, That's definitely what's going on in England. So anyway, it's very interesting to watch unfold. I wish I'd been more tuned into American news, but that's what was going down in Europe in 2015, and I think everyone should take a look at that and kind of take a look at Merkel's policies that she put into Germany and sort of where that's led Germany to today.
Sure.
And to make just a decision on that. It's just great to take. When I think you've lived outside of the country, you feel a lot differently and you see a lot of things and you know how people are in other countries. I know that about England, and I feel I should just share that knowledge or that thought with you, that I think this country is going in the same direction as this, and would advise you to look into England.
Sure.
And what's going on there, or I noticed someone commented about a guy who plays darts. And he's like 16 years old, and they've made a big to-do about him winning darts. Yes, this is him. And I don't know what's going on. I thought it was odd he was 16. But there you do graduate high school when you're 16. So he could have been out of school and playing. And I don't know. I saw someone mention that. I couldn't really decode it. And that was a question that I had for you. Was when people say to you, hey, can you do, I don't know, Honey Boo Boo, or, when someone dies, because someone's always dying in the media. I think the society's obsessed with that, but that's another issue. But when anybody wants a decode, like, what do they mean by that? Like, when these people are calling now and they're saying, I'm doing this decode, like, I don't know. Like, I just see things in a different way, I suppose.
What do you mean?
What are they decoding? Like,
the repetitive patterns that we document day after day in celebrity death?
Day in and day out. And I think that those need to be recognized. It's just that I think that, you do that so much on your show. And as sort of the teacher, I think that's your job too. I see your title of predictions, and I think that that word makes me nervous. I don't really want to say what, you don't want to be incorrect, I guess. But that would be my thought. I would piggyback off your caller from Detroit and say I agreed with him, and say that he needs to look into England.
Well, and again,
they made a prediction.
Just to make a point about just the crossover, again, it's the New World Order. So, I mean, the same things are going on all over the world, and that's why they're mixing up the populations of the world. Just like after 9/11, they scared the U.S. With the idea of Islam, like every Islamic person's a terrorist, but then they also brought in more Islamic refugees than ever in history, and next thing you knew, major cities were full of people in Muslim garb, and you just see how obvious the agenda is. It's like, okay, so they're scaring everybody about Muslims and funneling Muslims into the country at the same time. Like, obviously, there's some kind of sick joke going on here.
Yep.
But the point I wanted to make about the Civil War is Charles is the king right now, and when the English Civil War happened in history, it was King Charles, and that's why they're doing the rituals over here with King Charles' coronation on May 6th. On the same day that they're having LeBron, who used to play for the Cavaliers, which are the people who fought for King Charles in the English Civil War. But the reason they're having King Charles' coronation on May 6th is not only because royal family equals 56, it's because Civil War equals 56. So I know you don't follow my work that much because I've been talking about the Civil War that they're building for the last decade. I mean, this isn't anything new. But that is where it's going. I don't think it's going to happen in 2024, but that is where we're building, and this election will be more bricks in the wall, to quote Pink Floyd from the UK, towards that direction. No doubt that's where they're taking us. So,
which is actually hilarious you say that, because I watch a lot of Full House, and they actually said that on an episode today about building the wall. Sure. And it was in reference to Pink Floyd. So anyway, but yeah, it's just everywhere, and the machine's pumping it out, and it's very difficult to get people to wake up, but I just try to be extremely pleasant in society, and I hope that spreads to others,
Sure.
But that's how.
From my experience,
really do.
From my experience, people in the UK are more knowledgeable about most things than Americans are. I think, sadly, America is probably one of the dumbest populations on Earth, based on what goes on here. Pretty much everybody knows nothing about anything except for entertainment and consumer brands. But again, the Charles thing is a clue of what's to come. Again, just the King Charles that was connected with the Civil War. So,
well, I've been posting on your site just different things that I've noticed, so I'll post there, and then if I call in the future, I can just reference back there. That would be easier. And I think your site's a great site and great maintenance, and I know I think you have the cloud. They said you have great maintenance, but appreciate the service you offer. I think it's well worth $5 a month.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, take care, and thanks for taking my call.
All right. Yeah. You have a good night. Yeah. By the way, thank you to everyone who does support the work, because like my web team just gave me more gray hair the other day. You know how whatever Android did, so you couldn't download the calculator anymore. So I asked them to make the repairs so that the download would work. And can somebody confirm that the Android, if you have an Android phone, that you can now download the Gematria calculator from my website, GematriaEffect.news? It better be able to be downloaded. They told me it's up and running, but the bill to make the changes and to build the calculator in the first place cost a fortune, and I've never charged anything for it. But just to make the update so it could be downloaded again on Android cost $1,200. And I was just like, what? $1,200? They're like, well, we had to spend 15 hours on making improvements to make it work. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So again, thank you to everyone who does support the work. And again, I do provide a lot of services that are totally free to use, but of course there is a bill behind them, and that is funded through the people who do support the work. So thank you again. And remember, investing in the work, I mean, you get a lot of content on Patreon, and maybe you don't like to gamble, but maybe you can learn to gamble for fun and make some extra money. Like last night when we hit on the 15.5-point dog, Charlotte Hornets over the Kings. Congrats to the winners. Anyhow, let's go out to 828. What's up, 828?
Hey, I was calling to answer the question about the prediction. I think they've already told us in the predictive programming. I mean, all you got to do is look at the Transformers movies and the Terminator movies, and they pretty much tell you all the truth in those two movies.
Sure. So what are you saying? Technology is going to overtake man this year?
Well, I was thinking the alien invasion was going to happen last summer, but when all the talk was happening, apparently in that community, they were saying, no, it's going to happen in the summer of 2024. So, you know, they've already told us they're going to do the cyber attack, coinciding with the fake alien invasion, Project Bluebeam, which will just bring everybody, you know, to their knees with their smartphones while their graphene oxide in their bloodstream is connected to the 5G. They'll have no choice but to do what they're told. And, you know, it'll be just like, I mean, I watched Transformers Age of Extinction last night, and I mean, they're rolling out the drones and, you know, just identifying everybody, you know. They don't need to chip everybody. The mark of the beast is, you know, just like you proved that the 666 was in the vaccine. I mean, everybody that's got that vaccine is already tied into the 5G mind control automation of humanity, and that's where they're taking humanity. Even the show The Fringe, which the FBI worked with the producers of The Fringe, that's exactly what they're showing too, that there's two timelines that are going to split here in the future, where everything that's tied in with the AI and the automation of humanity goes on one timeline, and the natural timeline, who knows? I mean, Laura Eisenhower, you know, she has been speaking many years about, you know, she calls them the Greys, which the Greys were just the time travelers that tried to bring the New World Order in 1947. Didn't really go as planned, and that's where all the technology was exchanged, and that's provable. That's in documents that Eisenhower signed. So, you know, this is basically a battle for the future, and those that are operating from the future it's not like some humans calling up and saying, okay, we got to code what Obama does and says on this date, and it has to be at this time, and CNN has to release it at this time. That's not, you know, that's not how it's going down. It's all mind control automation where I've witnessed mind control firsthand, and people aren't even conscious of what they're being controlled to say and do. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So, you know, I'm up here in the mountains, ready to go off the grid, not off the grid yet because we still have to eat and get a paycheck, but, you know, as ready as possible. That's where you need to be right now as a truth seeker. And speaking out about it is very dangerous. I can tell you firsthand that I became a targeted individual. I've been gang stalked, and the shit's real. There's some guy that calls every week to your show, and he has a lot of insight about it. And if you're a targeted individual, you don't really speak out about it because, I mean, they'll ruin your life. And somehow they're able to manipulate your reality, which is what they're doing to all of us. But if you become noticeable that you're you're putting stuff out like you're doing, they will try to alter your reality through mind control, and people that will come in and attack you through mind control, they won't even know that they're under mind control. So, yeah, man, it's a scary situation we're going into, but, you know, you just got to keep doing what you're doing and waking people up to hopefully they won't end up in the mental hospital and they'll end up fighting the good fight of the natural timeline.
Well, I appreciate the thoughts and the call. Thank you very much, and stay strong.
Thanks. God bless.
All right, yeah, you too. By the way, I missed some super chats tonight. Shout out to Stephen Bunn, who chipped in $5 and said thank you. Shout out to Richard Quinn, who chipped in $5 and said it's his monthly donation, and he's got a prediction. He says Joe Biden's going down on the 46th day of the year. And remember, the year he became president, the 46th day of the year, February 15th, that was the day President's Day fell on. Remember how convenient that was? And the date can be written 15/2, like Joe Biden equals 152, as does Kamala Devi Harris, which is a number that ties in with why we think he's going to leave around June 1st, but we'll see. Maybe Richard will be right. Maybe it'll be more immediate. Time will tell. And shout out to Oscar as well, who also chipped in $5. So, again, you want to phone in tonight? The line is not too long. It's 213-233-3998. And let's go out to 772.
Hey, Zach, what's up? I have some predictions. I had given one a couple of weeks ago with the Taylor Swift that I think that it's possible she could possibly die next year because the name for her fans, Swiftie, is 44, and the end date for her Eras tour is on the kill date in December. And also another prediction I had was that I think that maybe on the next blood moon, which is March 14th, 2025, it's possible there could be some kind of power outage or something like that on that date. And the reason why I said that is because in Leave the World Behind, when everything happens, it happens on the blood moon on the lunar eclipse. So I thought that was interesting. Also, I had a decode about the Beirut, the leader that was killed in Beirut. I noticed that it seems like it might have been connected to the Beirut explosion like a couple years ago. I noticed that Beirut explosion was 201, just like January 2nd when the Hamas leader was killed. And I also noticed that Beirut equals 42, just like World War. And also another headline that happened, I think it was on yesterday or the day before, right when the year started, was that Kim Jong-un said that if provoked, he would thoroughly annihilate the U.S. Like, you know, in quotations, thoroughly annihilate equals 107, just like military. And Kim Jong-un is actually matches in 3 of the ciphers with World War. So I think that it's possible, you know, we could see something happen with that. You know, obviously they started also with the Chinese saying that they would reunite Taiwan also on the first of the year.
That was actually said on the last day of 23, last day of the year.
Oh, okay, on the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if the thing that your mom was saying with the P, I actually have an explanation for you. You want me to get into that? You want me to explain how the whole, like, why there might be benefits to drinking the pee, but what's actually a better thing to do?
I had a guy call me up today, and he said there are some real situations where it can be helpful. He said he had a friend that was bitten by a snake, and drinking urine helped stop the poison from taking hold. So apparently that there are some real world situations where drinking your urine can be an asset. But again, the thing, like I told my mom, is okay, even if there are benefits to drinking your own urine, there's probably about 5,000 things you can do before that would be helpful to your situation. Like, my mom doesn't want to exercise. She doesn't want to stop downing the whole Ruffles bag whenever she gets one. These are all things that need to be done before you look to urine to improve your health, as far as I'm concerned. So,
well, Yeah, so I can explain it, and what's a lot better. I can explain what's a lot better to do. So when you pee, you lose about like 150 or like 80 or 250 nanograms of iodine, and iodine in the body gets depleted because usually people aren't having enough of it in their diet. And they said that she was saying that like it helps with arthritis and stuff like that. The reason why is because iodine is God, how can I not think of the word? Not caustic, but alkalizing. It's alkalizing in the body. So normally when you have iodine, which a third of the population in the U.S. and the world is deficient in iodine, it has an alkalizing effect on cancer, arthritis, kidney stones, all that stuff. And if you just get like an iodine supplement and put like a few drops of it inside your water every day, that would also help. Like my dad's girlfriend has been like sick like the whole past month, and every time that I felt like I was starting to get sick, I had some iodine, and it just went away right away. Like whenever I started feeling like having a sore throat or feeling stuffy, I had some iodine. It went away almost immediately. I haven't gotten sick in like over a year. And also another thing that's in pee is also right. Let me keep talking about the iodine. So a lot of people are overweight and they don't really have any energy. So iodine is obviously important to thyroid function. It makes thyroxine T4 and 3,3,5-triiodo L-thyramine, which is T3, which are both important hormones for energy. For it controls your metabolism, your mood. A lot of that stuff is all controlled by T3 and T4. So if you're iodine deficient, a lot of people are overweight. They have, they're in a bad mood. They don't have any energy. And that's probably one of the reasons why. I mean, that's a third of Americans that are iodine deficient. And another thing that that's gotten rid of in pee is potassium. You can supplement potassium citrate if you don't have enough potassium. But I mean, if you're eating like red meat, then you probably don't have a problem with it. Probably don't have a potassium deficiency. But potassium is also something that people can be deficient in the U.S. They might not be getting enough potassium. So if you supplement potassium and iodine, then that'll basically be a lot better than drinking pee, because when you have pee has toxins in it. It has the dead cells in your body are gotten rid of through the pee. Dead viruses, dead bacteria, a lot of stuff like that is all exited out through the pee. So it's better to not really, drink that, especially not often. But yeah, that was basically my explanation for it.
Okay.
And also, the other caller was saying something about the graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is not connected to the internet. It's what's in pencil lead. It's like basically completely inert. Graphene oxide doesn't do anything. You can look at it like with the pencil lead, see what happens. It doesn't do anything. So that stuff's totally inert. And also a lot of the gang stalking people, they're kind of like they're just kind of nobodies, and they think that, they're being like watched by all these people. I mean, I know there's definitely people out there like you and other people who are, tracked and stuff, but I mean, you've actually like done something in the world to warrant that. A lot of these people, like, nobody knows who they are. They haven't really done anything, and they think that they're being watched. And, it's just kind of like a common thing that schizophrenic people say. And he's talking about like the aliens and time travel and all that stuff. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of makes us look bad. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I hear you. So anyhow, appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Take care. Yeah. For people who missed the latest news in my neck of the woods, my mom's latest, most brilliant idea is she's going to try urine therapy. And her motivation is she has pain in her fingers, and it's from cleaning house for all of her life. And she came across a documentary that says urine therapy is a great solution for arthritis. And I was looking online, like how she went down this path. There's actually a lot of information and testimonials online to this topic. So, and she's just getting mad at me for telling her to try other things. She's saying I'm closed-minded, but you know what? if that's what she wants to do, drink urine, we'll see. We'll see. If it cures her arthritis, I'll be the first to tell you. So, anyway, you just never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Let's go out to 607. Or actually, hold on. I was going out of order. 708, you're up next. 708, you're on. 708. Hello. Okay, he must have stepped away. All right, 607, you're on.
Yo, for a prediction, I'm thinking Toyota could have a good year.
24.
With their stock.
24, okay.
Yeah. And another prediction, I'll say the first overall pick in the NFL draft will be a wide receiver for the first time since Keyshawn Johnson back in '96. And Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. It's going to be 259 days after his birthday. Chicago Bears equals 259.
Okay.
37 weeks. 37 weeks is 259 days. Chicago equals 37. And yeah.
All right, hold on. We got a commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Here's the last part. Leaders must understand the fact that there is both good and evil. It's part of the life scenario to understand good and evil. And however you wish to describe good and however you wish to frame your ideology of evil, there are a lot of ways to put it. For some people, evil is too strong a word. I don't know. This is part of your own philosophical conclusions that you have to come to in trying to evaluate this earthly struggle. Evil, good, tyranny, liberty, sickness, health, winning, losing, life, death, opportunity, tragedy. It's part of the life scenario. And part of it is described in rather philosophical terms on a fairly higher plane called the Great War between Good and Evil.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Reveal Lataria history, Darcy, Lightworkers, and Indigos. Join me on the Nikki Colombo Show. It's time to reclaim our true history, our true timelines, our cosmic heritage. And remember, be humble, for you are made on earth. Be noble, for you are made.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
Okay, I'm going to assume the music would have stopped by now. Just so hard when you can't hear what is playing, but yeah, we are taking your calls, and 607 got cut off here, so let's go back out to him. He's got some predictions, which is the theme of tonight. All right, 607, you were saying?
If Marvin Harrison Jr. went number 1 overall, he'd be the first wide receiver taken 1 overall in 10,233 days. Emphasis on 233. Chicago Bears equals 233. But I loved Michigan against Alabama for the simple reason that the championship is in Houston. And in Houston, you had the sign stealing scandal in Major League Baseball. And of course, the story of this season has been Jim Harbaugh and the sign stealing. So of course, the sign stealers have to go to sign stealing land in Houston. That's the most obvious thing.
Okay,
and then
that's a good observation.
If you break it down a little more, if you go from Michigan's last championship win, which happened in the beginning of January of '98, if you go from that date until this upcoming championship, it's 9,503 days. 953 is the 162nd prime. Like Major League Baseball, 162. Like baseball, it's 162. There's 162 games. This Michigan scandal is directly connected to the Houston Astros sign stealing scandal. And Harbaugh's on 117 wins, a Major League Baseball number. And the championship game is going to be 351 days before his upcoming birthday, which is another Major League Baseball number. And in Jewish Gematria, Harbaugh equals 307, the 63rd prime, another Major League Baseball number. So a lot of Major League Baseball parallels with this Michigan sign stealing scandal. And we'll leave it there for now. So thanks for taking my call.
All right, good observations. Nice work. Okay, let's go out to 469. 469.
Oh. Hey.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, that's Jay from Dallas, man. I had told you about been with you for a long time. I told you about Martin's door number.
You've been telling me about what?
Hold on. I said I've been with you for a long time. I told you about Martin's door number.
Oh, yes. How he lived in apartment 42, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I got the book off Etsy back in 2018. So it's been, man, I haven't been able to call in a while.
Man, he better look out. He's gonna turn 59 this year.
Martin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember he went crazy like a while. It was a long time ago. He was like in the middle of the street waving a gun. So
well, did he go crazy? He said people were trying to kill him. He said people were trying to kill him. So was he going crazy? Maybe we could have read about his obituary that day had he not ran out of there.
Yeah, that was a while ago. As far as the predictions, I got Bob Baffert winning the Kentucky Derby this year. He's gonna be 71. You know, that's been a big number with
Churchill
Alabama
Downs.
and Georgia.
That's a number at Churchill Downs too.
Yeah, Churchill. Oh, okay, 71. Yeah, and then, you know, this is gonna be the 100. I think it's gonna be the 150th Kentucky Derby. So they probably give it to him. I think the Browns are gonna go pretty far in the playoffs with this Flacco and Ravens narrative. Remember Art Modell? He owned the Browns, then he owned the Ravens.
He died 150 days before the Ravens won the Harbaugh Bowl, and Harbaugh equals 150, which could also be a clue with Michigan, who's 14-0 right now. So,
all right, and then there goes that 150 again with the Kentucky Derby and that 150. They like that number 50. Have you seen this commercial with Lamar Jackson and the crystal ball?
I have not.
Yeah.
What's that for?
When you watch like, it's just like an NFL commercial, and like they show the Cowboys, show the, I think it's like a playoff commercial or something, just an NFL commercial, but it's like a witch or some lady, and she's rubbing her hands, and it's like a crystal ball shaped like a football, and it's Lamar Jackson's face is in the inside of it.
Huh. I haven't seen that. Okay.
Yeah. What's the community website where you can like post stuff on there? I haven't been on there in a while.
freetofindtruth.com.
And then like you can have your own login and everything, right? That's that one?
Yeah, and if you got a smartphone, you can download the Mighty Networks app, and then it's an app that's real easy to use. You just search, once you download the app, you just search GematriaEffectNews, and then just plug yourself in there, and then you're always in there.
Okay. Yeah, because I had an account before, but then one day I tried to log in, and I guess it deleted it, or I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good year. I'm looking forward to seeing all your videos, man. I thank you so much for teaching me over these years, man. I'll be killing it on the gambling apps and in Vegas.
There you go.
You know, so I gotta give all that thanks to you and everybody. Especially like the people who've been with you for a while. You know, we could pretty much be on our own now. You know, trained us up and sent us off in the world. And, you know, we know the numbers, so we just can't be counting on you to hit all the futures and nail every pick. And, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You've learned the knowledge. Now you can use your own mind. Exactly. And it sounds like you're doing it, so good for you.
Right. Yeah, man. You doing, I've seen you hit a lot of stuff in our time. But, yeah, man, that's all I got. And, again, thank you, Zach. And stay healthy out here, man.
Will do.
Be good to 24, brother.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. You have a good night. Yeah, take care.
Yes, sir.
Okie dokie. Let's go out to the 201. 201, you're on.
Hey, there was a chance coming about the Balfour Declaration ended October 31st last year, and I never heard of anything of this on your channel yet. So can you say something about this?
201, I'm having trouble understanding you.
So there are lots of channels covering about Balfour Declaration ended October 31st last year.
I feel bad because the accent, I'm having trouble with it, but go ahead.
Balfour Declaration ended October 31st last year.
4 decorations on Halloween?
No, it ended October 31st last year. So, I mean, there are a few channels covering this, but I never heard anything of this on your channel yet.
What ended on October 31st?
Balfour Declaration.
Oh,
Goodness.
that's how did it end? It was November 2nd, 1917.
No, it's ended last year, October 31st. Goodness, are you watching news or something?
Okay. All right, I'll look into that. I appreciate it. I feel like is he trolling us? Hold on. I'm gonna bring him back if he hold on. Balfour Declaration. I mean, it was November 2nd, 1917. How did it end? Ended October 31st, 2023. What is this? He's got to be trolling us. What will they think of next? I love how he called in from the 201. Okay. It's just like, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, even though I know I got mad trolls, but that's got to be some kind of trolling. All right, let's go out to 330.
What's happening, Zach? How you doing?
Yeah, what's going on?
Not too much. I thought I'd get into two different topics that probably can grind your gears and piss you off from time to time. You know, the agents and the retards who follow them. What do you want to touch on? I'll give you the option.
Whatever one you want to touch on, it's your call.
Let's dive into the agents a little bit. In other sectors of YouTube, you know, you got this sector where they're co-opting it right now. Let's just call them the agents, or they call them the glowies. A lot of these people, we've come to find, are government contractors. There's a gentleman who was speaking in the quote-unquote manosphere, you know, a bunch of guys looking for direction, some of them, you know, lacking any sort of masculinity in their lives or masculine role models. And there's a guy who a lot of people were kind of suspect about this individual, and he jumps on a late night kind of panel of a well-known YouTuber. And this guy's known for getting drunk, and he admits that he has a company that moves military hardware for the government. And he says, yeah, I make millions of dollars moving equipment for the government. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm basically ahead of the curve. Like, I know essentially what's coming. And the guy really, you know, let his hand out there. So I think a lot of the people that fester your channel, that really are a thorn in your side, they might be a government contractor working in so many different sectors, private, and they're getting extra kickbacks.
It's got it here. Can I just pause right here? I'll give you an example of one of these people that has to be something like this. About a year ago, there was a channel called Jim Bob who was like making fun of my work on the daily and making that a point, but he also associates with this guy who runs a channel called The Crucible. And if anyone's familiar with this Crucible channel, they do debates. But he makes so much money in every live stream, despite the fact he doesn't have that much of an audience. And at the beginning of every stream, he'll put up a goal of $650 that he wants to raise for the live stream. And he usually raises almost the full amount within an hour. But I mean, the guy's not interesting. It's the same boring, repetitive topics. He claims to be a Christian. Lately, his thing is kind of like focusing on OnlyFans and just stupid stuff. But I'm just like, there's no way this guy has like why? Why would people be making donations like this? He's not interesting. It's the same shit. But I just remember he was associated with that Jim Bob guy when they were constantly making fun of my work. But he'll always be on there bragging. He's like, my life's so great. Look at me. I'm just sitting here on my ass smoking cigarettes, and I've already made $500 in 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't real. I mean, like, how could a guy like that who just comes out of nowhere have all this financial support online? Here we are. I bust my ass every day, and I'm lucky if I can raise $10 in live streams between 5 hours of content for the day. So there's no way it's real, some of these YouTube channels and the way they rake in the money. Something's going on. But anyway.
Exactly. They have a very simplistic bread and butter to keep the retarded audience captivated. And when I say the retarded audience, most of these people are stunted because they're stuck in their limbic system. Most of us were raised in our limbic system. The fight or flight, emotion pretty much running the day, logic having, no statute for anything. And the diet has a big deal to do with that. If you have a parent who's and I know people throw this word around, but there's only one place you can go to for the real answers behind this condition, narcissism, and that's Professor Sam Vaknin. There's a particular stream where he really dives into how we are going to become dependent upon AI once there's no differentiation between humans and robots. And he didn't say that, but a Japanese robotic like master engineer, someone who's been a big pioneer in the industry, has said that once there's no distinguishing factor, that's when things are going to get real scary. And Sam Vaknin himself is a narcissist, 2 times diagnosed, and he said the horror of narcissism is that the first AI will be based off of us, and he himself, being a narcissist, is just saying this is what's going to be horrible about the future. So these people have subjective influence where it means like, I only want to be influenced by what I want to be influenced by. And they send out these agents, and I'm going to throw a name out there. The channel's name is Archaics. I've had multiple people tell me about this chronologist, this guy who was in prison, who did a bit, and he had access to all these older books that have been discontinued, and they were in circulating prison libraries, and he has this big chronology about the world and world history, but he's always going against Israel. And this guy was in prison. He's a white man. He's bald. I'm thinking, man, white nationalist kind of sounds like No Less News. Kind of sounds like how No Less News does an awesome interview with you, takes the shit down 75 days before the end of the day, New World Order equals 75. And then they're trying to recruit Brendan O'Connell, who called them out, who's like, no, there's something fishy going on. I think you were kind of in relation to Brendan's information about how they went to Israel, the white nationalists. Somehow they got into Israel, even though they talked so much shit about him. And then they go to Rome to meet with Steve Bannon. Why did they go to Rome? I don't know what's going on in Rome. But at the end of the day, there's only been a few people calling these guys out. And this Archaics individual, if you go to the calculator right now and type in Archaics, Archaix, and then you type in Israel, overlap in 2 ciphers, ordinal forward, and then reverse reduction. And he's always talking shit about Jews. And it's like, man, you fit the bill exactly. Ex-con or government contractor or ex-military. All these guys will play devil's advocate. All these guys will be the opposite extreme. So, for instance, Bro Sanchez, I don't know if you ever covered that retard.
Him and I have debated twice, and it did not look good for him either time. And it literally is. But the one thing I'll give him credit for, though, is he's not a bad rapper. But yes, you could make the argument that he is retarded. So, yes.
Okay. So Bro Sanchez and Jason from Archaics had this big beef, this big, debate and whatnot. And Bro Sanchez was muting Jason. And it's like, essentially, there is an agenda at the end of the day. That is the secession of the United States. That was Henry Kissinger's plan. Brendan Lee O'Connell lays it out. And Alex Jones talking about secession. What was the name? Dr. Steve Koshemek talking about secession, how, the Constitution is just, it's outdated. How from Trump it will go to Jared, and from Jared it will go to Ivanka, and making all these stark predictions. But at the end of the day, that's the agenda. And according to Jason from Archaics, Mr. I Hate Israel, he says there's going to be a Christian Reich coming up in this country. And according to Brendan Lee O'Connell, they're going to ship all the industry to the south. And when you look at Route 80 across this country, you've driven Route 80, what did they turn every major city into? A liberal shithole where they need militarized police. Oh, perfect for breaking up the United States, making it hell on earth in the big cities, to drive it into a UN Smart City Habitat program that Brendan also talks about. And what do? They have the dialectic always. That biblical phrase that Satan uses 2 extremes to the same lie. Bro Sanchez was one extreme, Archaics was another, both on the same team, WWF style, cracking beers behind the stage and laughing at everybody they're conning and running the ritual on. and they keep that resonant frequency that I've mentioned before. And like, I'm just going to be honest, these people are going to be very pissed off if I can manage you and Dr. Ali Muhammad, who runs ARNA, the Aboriginal Republic of North America, who has all the real history that can tell you what's backdated and what has actually taken place, because you two validate each other more than any two bits of knowledge out there. So if you two cross paths and have a stream, these people are going to be shitting their pants. And I just can't stand knowing how twisted and how manipulated most people are, to where they get they get game run on them consistently because they are stuck in mental enslavement, which is subjectivity. That's where belief lies. And a lot of people say money is the root of all evil. And then a lot of people want to say, well, no, it's women who are the root of all evil. Subjectivity is the root of all evil. The moment you start to think about yourself, whether it's your influences, whether it's what you like to eat versus what's really good for you in the objective nature sense, you're doing evil acts. And, there's this sliding scale of morality that you hear all these agents on these debate streams will talk about, all these communists, all these people that were recruited in the OSS fashion, Wild Bill Donovan fashion, the first person who ran the OSS, the CIA before the CIA. What type of people did he recruit, according to Kay Griggs, who did the awesome interview? Kay Griggs Tells All. She said that they will recruit communists who want to dismantle our way of governing and our way of life, the constitutional republic, where things kind of make sense and things kind of work if they're not being subverted by the Jesuits the entire time, when Benjamin Franklin said a republic, if you can keep it, walking out of signing the document. So I know I'm kind of tying a lot together, but these people have a science of keeping the dialectic. They have a science of keeping the people retarded through the food, through, turning them into narc robots, cyborgs walking around that can be tricked and conned into anything, because it's mental enslavement. It's the subjectivity factor. And if you hear anyone saying that subjectivity is mental enslavement and that subjectivity is the root of all evil, I'm the first person who said that shit. I'm claiming it, all right? I hear a lot of people taking people's words, and I know a lot of people have stolen from you. So I think you need to start to come out with Zachary K. Hubbard originals. So if anyone uses your shit, man, you can pin, hey, this is when I said it. This is the exact date. Give me credit, But I'm going to keep it as short as I can because I've been running my mouth. But I appreciate the work, man. And like I said, Archaics he talked about Gematria. He said, Gematria is good to invest your, knowledge base into research, but he never says your name. Why is that? Why will no one ever say your name or Brendan O'Connell's name? Ever. It's like the two most blacklisted names that you can't say.
We're not in the network.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
but,
again,
I'm gonna keep it there, man.
Well, I appreciate the call. Yeah, thank you. You have a good night.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I don't want to cut you off.
Well, I was just gonna say, just what I can tell as a content creator is, for a while it's just you compared Adam Green of No More News and Archaics, and what I saw for both of those guys is they came out of nowhere, and then they're just constantly just like bots, if you will, spamming their channel names in everybody who's in the truth community, if you will's chat. So you see their name just show up everywhere, and the next thing you know, everybody's talking about them. I got people calling it TFR that I got to check out Archaics, leaving comments, hey, have you heard about Archaics? It's like, yeah, it's the most viral thing in my comments lately. And it's like, you just see that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for me, for example, but these channels, and just when Adam Green came out of nowhere, in no time, David Icke's doing interviews with him, all kinds of people doing interviews with him. It's just like, okay, where do these people come from? Where do they get all this traction right away? How is their name everywhere? What's he doing that's different? Okay, he's the latest guy on the internet saying that the Jews run everything. What makes that special? But again, it's because there is something behind these people. And how's he going to be the biggest Jew hater online and then do a trip to Israel? It's like, okay, so what's going on with that? And then he so Anyway, that's how I can just see as a content creator who's never gotten any kind of support anywhere near that something's going on with these channels to help them get clout and status and recognition and a decent subscriber base almost overnight. And
definitely. And there's one more piece to this whole puzzle. Jason just admitted, because a friend of mine that I, frequently eat breakfast with and kind of go out to eat with, an older gentleman, he's always truth seeking, and, he enjoys your channel, your content, he understands the big piece to the puzzle. He basically told Jason's story. Jason opened, let the cat out of the bag, that he was an orphan, that he was wandering around the streets, getting into trouble. And I'm kind of, bastardizing it, but, gets into trouble, goes to prison and whatnot. His story is very, very similar to Hiram Abish, the fatherless child, the mythical founder of Masonry, supposedly. And it's just like, I don't believe that's your backstory. I don't buy that. I think this is what they're giving you to sell to your audience, and this is a part of the spell, the ritualistic casting system. Because here's another thing. The one channel, the funny guy, that old guy, Jurassic Liars 26, when he would cover the news specials, and he would say, every time there's man in the name, it's one of their stories. Right. There was a guy who jumped. I'll continue, man.
It's the commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
Becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
The county refused to produce the network router. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? Get routers. Come on, Kelly, we can get those routers. Those routers. Oh, if you got those routers, what that will show. And they don't want to give up the routers. They are fighting like hell. Why are these commissioners fighting not to give the routers? How simple could it be? That will tell the truth. And they don't want to give up the routers. What are they trying to hide? And I say it, and I'll say it, because the easiest way of cheating is to throw them away. That's easier. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? It's so unfair. It's so unfair. It's so ridiculous. I'll be honest now. Look, we all like to win. If I lost this election, I could handle it pretty easily. 124, sir, you're going to win. And I say, wait a minute, I just won 6 months ago. The big lie, they call it. Those twins are unproven. And knowing what happened in the election is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? If you think about everything about cancel culture, they want cancel culture. But what they don't want to do is anything having to do with the 2020 election. We have no press. We have no voice. They almost got away with it. They may have gotten away with it. And I'm telling you, I've got to say this. I've never said it before, but I've always thought it.
I get along with Putin because it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
He has refused to produce the network record.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been popularized.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We don't have a whole lot of people left on hold, so if you do want to phone in, it's not a bad time. You'll definitely get on the show. 213-233-3998. This Jeffrey Epstein document release. I guess the first name I'm hearing that's something new is David Copperfield. So, but again, like we've been showing the whole time, the Epstein thing ain't nothing but a distraction. And our friend who was on the line here, talking about what he thinks about the controlled opposition in the community. He's thought a few more thoughts, so I'm going to let him finish. And you're back on 330.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up in 1 minute or less. So this gentleman got on the Aboriginal stream, Dr. Ali Muhammad, also known as Aboriginal Global Media. And he goes into so much information across, I would say, millions of years on this planet that we've been here, and there's a huge cover-up about our existence, and they have everybody in a victim mentality, and that's a big piece to the narcissistic robot, the cyborg that is going to transition into AI, which we will be taken over by. So on this stream, there was a guy I remember that jumped on one of his panels before, and he was just a big hater. He was just a guy that couldn't understand the information. And I also say, for these people that are so intelligent, you have to ask yourself, when things don't make sense, when they're in debates, if you're so smart, why do you sound so fucking dumb right now? And it's in that moment they sound so dumb, and it's when they're playing their part, they're following their script. So this guy acted a retard on one of his panels, and then maybe 4 panels later, he jumps on there, and I swear in maybe 20 seconds, he said the word man. I think I counted it 22 times. Man, like, you're killing it, man. He couldn't help himself.
Sure.
And this dude was showing up to lay a spell, their low-level magic, because it's very low level. That's why this resonant frequency constantly needs fed. This algorithm, this Borg, this AI, this mechanism of Gematria constantly needs our engagement and our emotions to keep feeding it. And they have to keep sending their agents to cast these spells and get the people to buy into it. And when we buy into that lie, we just keep that resonant frequency within the lie of the Bible. And the Bible is basically, I don't even want to get into it. I got to digress, but I've said enough, man. Hey, I appreciate the time. It's always a pleasure to, be able to chop it up with you and talk whatever. And, when you give someone the floor, and not, like I said, I was bouncing all over. It's just good to keep it very objective minded, because we can all fall in love with something. We are all individuals, but when you see it from someone else's perspective, and then we're all looking and it's like, wait a second. this Archaics guy kind of sounds fishy, you know, like kind of sounds like these guys before him. You know, there's pioneers in this subversion game, and if they keep being able to lay their roots and have their tentacles expand, it's just going to keep smothering your operation, Brendan's operation, Aboriginal Global Media's operation, other guys that are really out there to tell you as much truth as they possibly can. So I appreciate everything you do. And like I said, I have these books, man. They're just massive, and I got to figure out how to compress them. Is your email also like your Gmail drive that I could try to send it to?
GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com.
All right, sweet. I'm gonna try to get it over. It's just he has so much information in these books, it's ridiculous. You're gonna enjoy the one on the Bible once you see how Flavius Josephus and Paul are the same exact person, pseudographical character, where the word Israel really comes from. The Subverters tells you it's Isis, Ra, and El combined. No, retards. There's no primary documents that relate to that. The primary documents go to the Ebla archives, which I believe were in cuneiform, which is, you know, an ancient way of recording information. And Isra is the term meant of protection. El was the god El. The Eblites which were from the Levant, you know, and the Canaanite region. They would go into battle with an epithet asking El for protection. They say Israel. That's where this word comes from. And it's been subverted and hogwashed into a people, into a nation, and it's all bullshit. It's all backdated. And your research proves it, and then the Aboriginals' history proves it. So like I said, you guys are really on top of your game, and I'm going to digress here, but thanks again, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, you too. Thanks for the call. And yeah, again, I know a lot of people in this community do like Archaics and his work, but to me, just any of these people that just rise up out of nowhere, and it's like I said, there's bots spamming the channel name over and over. It just reminds me of Flat Earth too, because that's all it was, like Flat Earth bots spamming Flat Earth, and just things are made to go viral and get people's attention through these same tactics over and over. And yeah, also when I tune into Archaics, I don't resonate with his work at all. But let's go out to 314. What's up, 314?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Zach. Hey, real quick, I wanted to get back onto the college football. I know everybody was talking about the championship game between Washington and Michigan. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I've noticed is that I don't think anyone said this yet, but in 1991, Washington ended up beating Michigan in the Rose Bowl to become national champions.
Yep.
And that was 33 years ago. So now we know 33 years later, they're playing again for national championship.
Hold on.
33 means
Wasn't it the 91-92 season?
It's saying right when I'm looking at it, yes. That's what it's looking
So
like.
30. That's 32 years ago. Just to be fair, that's 32.
Okay, so it wouldn't be 33.
Not if it was 91-92.
Because when I look it up, it says Washington Huskies 1991 national champion.
I'll double check, but I think it was the 91-92 season. Here, I'll look it up right now to see. January 1st, 92. Yeah, Washington was number 1 that year, so I think that's technically 32 years ago.
Okay. The only reason I was bringing it up is because if they were basing it off of Washington winning it in 91, and that's 33 years later, we know what the Freemasons do when they love that 33.
Well, don't forget 32 still matters a lot, because 32 is the second highest degree of the Scottish Rite, and it's kind of almost more important to football because NFL's 32, there's 32 teams in the league. And there's always parallels between college and NFL. It was the 91-92 season, so it was 32 years ago that Washington came out on top of Michigan.
That I just find it ironic that with, let's say 32 years later, they're playing each other again for the national championship. And everywhere I've been seeing it, whenever I look at the promotions for it, I always see the W on the top of the M, almost making that, that Freemason symbol. It's almost like they kind of want you to see that logo. If you stack them on top of each other, you can see that logo. But also, I know everybody keeps saying 46 was the big thing, and everybody was so big on 46 in Houston and Michigan. But when Michael Penix equals 46 as well. So I'm just saying maybe that might also be a clue. But that's all I had today. That's all I wanted to tell you.
Okay. Yeah, it's still a great observation. But yeah, don't forget 32 is an important number to Freemasonry just as well. The word Scottish itself equals 32, like America. So
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good night. Again, something interesting, the 3 degrees of the Scottish Rite, 31, 32, 33. You add those numbers together, it equals 96. The word Freemason's 96. So all those numbers are important. Let's go out to 951. 951, you're on. (951) California. Okay, maybe just listening. Let's go out to 720. 720. And then we only got one more person in line after that. If you guys want to call in, 720, you're on.
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? How's your family been doing?
Well, I'll hear the latest on my mom tomorrow. She starts her new therapy treatment. But how's your family doing?
Oh, we're doing good. I haven't talked to you in a minute. I think, maybe it was a few weeks ago. We just got done with Hanukkah. I briefly watched your Christmas thing, which you exposed, and I think it was the last time I watched you, brother. But no, our family's blessed. We've been doing great. We're seeing more of this subplot, which obviously you keep exposing, and God bless you, you do it well. And it's gonna get ugly, and you expose the ugly. But my brother, I don't know, I just listened like 2 callers ago. Man, he's going off on Israel and everything. It's like, well, I'm a Hebrew brother. I didn't do none of that, brother, did I? But I guess everyone has their, he started about Israel. I thought it was Jacob. The name was changed to Israel. That's what I thought it came from in the Torah, but I guess he had a whole other thing. Of course, that name goes 70 layers deep. But, it's interesting to hear some, people, and I asked them, you know any Hebrew? The Aleph Mentav, the Aleph Bet Gimel? And they're like, what? So I was like, yeah, you learn the Hebrew language, get away from the English language, goes a whole nother world, too. Of course, as well.
I don't think he was going off on Israel, though, was he? That's not what I heard in this call. He was talking about people who are.
Well, I think he was saying a different term with Israel, like the God of El to protect us. I was like, well, no, it's Jacob. His name was changed to Israel.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just the part I caused them. But it's like, yeah. And then obviously what's going on in Israel right now with the Gaza and actually the northern front. It's going to get ugly. But I don't know. You should read prophecy, though, too. Even though it exposed the Gematria, I call it the subplot side or the realm of death. But, 3 major wars are coming. And actually, the spirit of hunt's coming, too. It's called in Hebrew. God says in Jeremiah, I'll fish you out of the nations. Then I'm going to send the spirit of hunt to hunt you out. So we definitely know, with all the migration shifts, obviously in America and everything that's going to shift over there. Remember, I think I told you before, Zach, the only thing that's going to happen, and we're going on the next 7 years, which is, 2024 to 2030, we're going into another Shemitah. Well, the earth is going to go more in triggered events. So you're going to see more earthquakes, more migration shifts, more populations are going to go all different parts of the earth. And obviously it's going to intensify. And that's why you got, these wars coming, these triggered events coming on earth. And even though you're supposed to Gematria, but, you're exposed in the realm of death. In Hebrew, it's called Lucifer and Abaddon. Abaddon's below the earth. Lucifer is above the earth. 1/3 of the fallen angels that fell And basically, that's their job and their assignment to bring death. And the bad end, it says the bottomless pit. That's the underneath the earth, which I mean the Hamas came out too, which is the bottomless pit, and where they're at in tunnels. They're working with tunnels all through underneath the earth. And God only knows what's going on underneath those tunnels for centuries, I mean, this is nothing new. This has been going since the beginning of time, but that's called Abaddon. He's the angel below the earth.
Revelation
And
9:11.
Revelations too.
Revelation
There you
9:11.
go. So that's one angel that they don't know about is Abaddon. He's the angel below the earth. Lucifer is the prince above the earth, the prince of the airways. And basically, those are the two destructive angels that bring death. And that's why I think, Zach, like I told you, I think you had can you predict what's going to happen? Well, the only thing I know is when I go to every Sabbath, every Saturday, what am I doing? I'm opening a portal to my next 6 days, right? So something is going ahead of me. Or if I put a tithe in, or I keep the feast days of God. And then I think what you've been exposing is like Freemasonry, Illuminati, Abaddon, Lucifer, the allegiance of death. That's a subplot. And what do? They open portals to darkness and the realm of death, right? And basically, that's like what I told you. Very, very careful, because too, when you stay at this long enough, don't become part of it, which I don't think you are for sure. But you're exposing the hell out of it. But like I said, you can't be at two places Earth at the same time. So when I'm at Shabbat every Saturday at the right place at the right time, I'll open a portal to my next 6 days. If I'm somewhere else on Earth, if I want to skip the Sabbath, right, then that's exactly it. Open a portal to something else. There's a principle, that you can apply in your life, like 6 days work. I think I told you, like, if you want to change your status, put some oil on your face. The frequencies change. Wear cotton, wool, and linen. It gives you high frequencies on your body. 100% clothing of cotton, wool, and linen. These are principles that, we learn in Hebrew that anybody can do. They're universal laws. And basically, every principle, every key of life you do, it brings life, right? And then certain things what we call sin, or Christians are all about, or dysfunction, so they want to be in a criminal court. God's not counting your dysfunction. You're in a dysfunctional world. So they're trying to say, oh, how good can I be in front of my God? Where it has nothing about being good. It's just walking into Torah principles. Anything outside of that, it's like you committed sin. You're doing your own free will. And that's why in Hebrew too, that's all you do as a Hebrew is walking the Torah, is breaking heaven on earth now. That's the whole key. And then this is what you're going to do for eternity. But the other side is called the tree of knowledge, all good and evil. And basically, every time you look at that tree, Zach, what you're exposing, that's all you're going to get, the knowledge of good and evil. Or, instead of doing what's right, is like, how can I do things right? The other tree. And all that does is just keep bringing more chaos. And that's why every time I watch you, it's like you're exposing, more of the realm of death. But everything you expose, Zach, whether it's sports or Hollywood, right? Or like you said, it's Jeffrey Epstein. You're absolutely right. All it is a distraction and chaotic. And then once you go down that rabbit hole, once it's in, it's like, well, that was nice, so I'll cut that tree down. So let me go down to another tree branch, and then we go down to that one. But it seems like every rabbit hole you go down, it's like, okay, that was nice, so let's go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and you bounce all around, and it just keeps, causing more chaotic, chaos, There's like really no conclusion of the whole thing. And that's the whole point of it. It's an order out of chaos thing, which is a sick joke. You can't bring order out of chaos. Order is order. Even God's a God of order. You put your eyes up here and not below your feet. Your whole body is constructed in order by God. And that's why when you do Torah, you're putting order in your life. When you're outside of Torah, you're putting disorder, discomfort, or dysfunction. And that's, again, which, people call sin. But, so I just wanted to, talk to you, mid-Rashi a little bit, brother. But, hopefully this maybe helps some things. But, yeah, that Abaddon, Apollyon right there, he's below the earth. And obviously more things are being exposed underneath the earth. And, of course, in Hebrew, all our answers come from the earth. God created man and put us on earth. We're not looking at the sky. We're not looking for aliens. We're not looking to die to jump a cold heaven. It's called the Olam Haba, and you want to come back in a resurrected body, right back to earth. And that's the whole key, being back in a glorified body. That is the end game. But the whole thing is, too, is like when we're so caught up in this realm of death, that's what it's going to bring to us, right? And I see all these crazy movies. Well, the world's going to end. No, it's not. It's not going to end. That's deception. That's an illusion. The only thing that's going to reset over the next 7 years is more migration shifts, new economic systems, and everyone's going to be coming over towards the United States and the outer nations. But the prophecy is Israel will be 1/3 of the land. It will be Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, the waters of Egypt, Iraq, not Iran, northern Saudi Arabia, and a little bit of northern Turkey. That's going to be called the Eitz Chaim, the last global empire on earth. This is called the Kingdom of Heaven, Kingdom of God. But the other outer nations will reset with the global order. They will put it together in one day. It will fall apart. It won't last long, but they will put it together according to prophecy as well. But that's why that's the whole trick. When people are coming here to America and other nations and you see it crumbling right before your eyes, as you live here and so do I, you might be like Noah. I was like, maybe good chance I might want to get off this piece of earth and get back to maybe the Middle East after these 3 wars are going to happen. And that's going to be a reset because people are going to be over here and there's going to be other people over there. So you're going to have 2 kingdoms going to be set up. But Jesus said the kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God, or the Torah on earth, and the other one will be that global order. So, that's all that's going to happen this next 7 years. And obviously it's going to intensify.
So you think right now, hold on, you think right now is the first of the 7 years? You think right now 2024?
Well, 2024 to 2030/31, we're going another Shemitah. The key is you got another eclipse coming on April 8th, which is on the day of Passover, too. So we know the oven's cooking about 350 to 400 right now. And we know that obviously this empire called America has to go down, this global empire, for the next empire to shift over to the Middle East. But before that even happens, you're still going to have 3 major wars that are going to happen. That Hamas was the first triggered event, or the kings that came out of the bottomless pit. And if you look at Hamas, it says, when you read in Revelation, it says they had like hair like gold and look like locusts, and it's called ritual killers, which Hamas do with a blade, which you can't even get caught in Israel without a knife. You don't have a purpose for it. You're proving guilty till innocent. If you're not a butcher and anything on Israel, that's how serious they take with ritual killers with blades. You can't even have that. And then you'll have it's called the 3 woes that are coming. So that was the first woe. There's going to be 2 more woes after that. And basically, when you read also in Revelation, you're going to see there's going to be another woe and then another woe. And basically, that's going to intensify too. But yeah, there's going to be more wars. So obviously, the Aliyah is not going to happen yet. The house of Judah is not going to ask us to kill anybody, but you will have to restructure the cities, the land, and you have to rebuild the wastelands in the book of Isaiah. So the house of Israel, that just means those are the nations. Because over in Israel, they really don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew. They just care you believe in the Abrahamic covenant or come over in the Torah. They don't ask you what color or race. That's a joke. There's no such thing as race or color in the whole Torah. Just what tribe you came from. And once they prick your blood, they know exactly if your DNA, who you are, and what you got too. So after when these major wars come, over in Israel, then it's going to be 4 nations, then 9, and then all nations. Then it's going to reverse to the outer nations. But yeah, America, if you read in Jeremiah 50, chapter 51, it shows you the downfall of spiritual Babylon, which is America. I think it's Isaiah 42. It says, I sit like a queen, I lift up my thigh, I'm a widow, I need nobody. It was the Statue of Liberty, which Isaiah saw. And then he's talking about this nation called America will come down. And Isaiah says, Jeremiah says, make the arrows hot, throw them inside her. Those are nuclear missiles that are going to come in. And then it says they're going to sit away from the waters and they're going to cry because this great nation was going down and burning. And they won't be inhabited anymore. But that's also over time and season of prophecy. But I know there's a lot there in the frying pan, but what I just know in Hebrew, this was like right on time. And when we did Hanukkah, we knew another triggered event's going to come. And obviously about mid-March, the Feast of Esther, there will be another shift. And then, of course, on Passover and that eclipse come on April 8th, there's going to be a major shift that's going to happen, and also after that. But that's why in Hebrew, we know to do the feast days of God, because those are also called Moed in Hebrew. So if I do them, I got protection, I'm blessed. And what's Passover? It's your passport to get out of the nations, which most people don't even understand. That's why most Christians, I try to say, well, did you do the Passover, leavened bread, first fruits? Did you get the Pentecost, Yom Kippur, Yom Teruah? Oh, no, I don't need to do that. Jesus did away with all that. Okay, so you don't do the kingdom right here and now. That's part of the kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God. Because Christians are thinking, I don't need to do the Torah. I'm just going to die, get raptured, get out of here. So that means they don't need accountable to anything that Jesus told them to do, which he did the Torah and walked it out perfectly. That's the problem with Christianity, it's a belief system only, but I don't have to do anything, which is a complete joke. If you see the way they talk to you, it's like a deer in the headlight. What? Do the feast days? Go to Shabbat? Nah, it's like a joke. They don't get it. It's like they don't think they have to do anything. Which that whole Torah is the kingdom, which Jesus walked out, what he taught, and he said the heavens and earth will pass away, but the Torah will never pass away. That's Matthew 5:17 through 19. And he said, if you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven, teach the Torah. If you teach against it, you're least in the kingdom of heaven, which is walking the Torah right here on earth. And that's why when people, they jump over the Torah principles that when they go against the Torah or not, they don't believe. I was like, well, are you breathing in and out? Well, yeah, okay, so you got the breath of God. He gave that to you. So you're doing Torah whether you know it or not. That's just one principle. That's why I joke is, well, I don't believe in the Torah, I'm not doing it. So, okay, you don't honor your mother and father, you don't want to be fruitful and multiply, right? I mean, these are all Torah principles that came right out of it. And that's why a lot of Christianity, they don't think they had to do any of it, and it's a joke. So, yeah, go commit adultery right now on your wife and come home and tell you did it. See what happens. You're going to need more than Jesus probably when you come home. Because you're going to suffer a consequence right here and now. Or go rob a bank, and if you're doing 20 years, I guess thou shalt not steal still applies, doesn't it? So it's just so pathetic when you try to teach some Christian, it goes over their head. It's like, you don't understand, like Jesus says, you don't understand the basics, and how can I teach you the meat? When you can't even understand simple things. And, that's the whole irony of it. So, it's like, man. And every time I said, when you said, how can you predict things go ahead of you? Well, Zach, every time I go to Sabbath, I'm opening that portal for my next 6 days to get blessed. Period. So whatever God gives me, he gives me. And I'm thankful for it. If I go 6 days at work.
It took us into the commercial break, but hey, thank you as always, friend. Appreciate the call.
You don't have a reason to be disciplined. If you're just being disciplined for discipline's sake,
yeah, you too.
You're never going to achieve and do and stick with and complete and finish the task that's before you. And so when a person finds their purpose, almost immediately with them, they find discipline to fulfill that purpose. And if you have no purpose, I promise you, you will lack the discipline. So when people say, well, you need to really stick with it, you need to be disciplined, I would say, let me ask you a question. Do you know what your purpose is? Because it's the purpose that puts steel in the backbone of discipline.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Cron, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency. Is Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got 30 minutes of show left and not a whole lot of people on hold, so if you do want to phone in, now's a good time. Breaking news. A 72-year-old Florida man named Michael Shapiro arrested for threatening a member of Congress. And Shapiro, that's a interesting surname. I was recently just scanning back over Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. We always talk about how interesting 72 is, how important it is to the Jesuits. First Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, on the 72nd day of the year was the day he became Pope, March 13th, 2013. Again, the number is important because in Kabbalah there's 72 names of God. In the Goetia there's 72 demons. Manly P. Hall has a section on how it's this very important number to the Kabbalah because it's a fifth of a circle. And I was like, wait a minute, but he doesn't elaborate a whole lot. So I was reading that section, I was like, so I got to look more into this fifth of a circle thing. Or a fifth of a circle is 72 degrees. But, of course, we know the sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. But the fifth of a circle, that's something I've been meaning to research more. I just want to throw that out there in case you want to beat me to it. So, all right, let's go back out to the call board. And next up is Evan. What's up, Evan?
Did you catch the day that the Browns signed Joe Flacco?
I forget. Remind me of the ritual.
It was November 20th, so 11/.
Biden's birthday. Biden's birthday. That's right. And he went to Delaware. That's what it was. I knew there was something to it. Okay.
And that was 83 days before the Super Bowl. And I know you talked about this the other day. The last time. The MVP of the last Browns NFL championship.
Hold on, Evan.
I forget his name.
Evan, hold on. Let's go one at a time. 83 days before the Super Bowl. As we know, Cleveland Browns equals 83. So does football. So does election.
Football,
election. So.
Right. It's football, Cleveland Browns, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Joseph Vincent Flacco all equal 83.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And the MVP of the last Browns NFL championship is currently 83 years old. And I think you probably already mentioned this, but the Browns beat the Baltimore Colts in that NFL championship back in 1964. So that was 60. Was it 60? Yeah, it was 64. And it kind of relates to the college championship because between Washington is currently 5-8 all time against Michigan, and if they lose next week, they'll be 5-9. And from the Michigan perspective, that's 9-5. Baltimore equals 95, and of course Harbaugh's brother is the coach of Baltimore. And something that's interesting, I don't know.
And hold on. And the Super Bowl in 95? The Super Bowl in 95, remind me why that matters.
Are you talking about the 95 season or like in the year of 95?
Come on, Evan. I know you know this one. The Super Bowl's on the 95th.
I know the Niners won the Super Bowl in February or January of 95.
They did win. They won the 95 season over the Chargers. But the Super Bowl's on the 95th birthday of the Vatican. We've been talking about this all year. Come on.
Oh, I can't watch every single video, but
okay. That's a point I've made a million times. I thought for sure you knew it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What else was I going to say? I think that's actually all I had to say about Flacco. And then another thing, I was just in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic this past week, and it's a very Jesuit city. If you write out Santo Domingo, it equals 56. And it's the place where Christopher Columbus and his people their first city in the Caribbean. And there's this one place, I forget what the name of it is, but it was like a place where like the royal people lived back in the day. And they have these ceramics of like the Jesuit logo, the Eye of Horus, and the Templar's cross. It just goes to show that they spread their symbolism everywhere they go.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and is there anything else? That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay. Yeah, and just about that Chargers, or the Niners beat the Chargers in the 95 season. That was the year the Niners scored 49 points in the Super Bowl. But this year, something interesting that we saw coming a mile away was the Chargers falling to 4-7 versus Baltimore. Like Baltimore beat the 49ers in Super Bowl 47. And again, Chargers, electricity, that was the blackout Super Bowl. So the 95 is a big piece. And of course, the star on the Browns is Myles Garrett, who wears number 95. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's go out to 916. 916, you're on.
That's me.
That's you.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, about the Chargers, I happen to know the cheerleaders, and they're pretty hot.
Okay.
But I know about, I'm sorry, I'm dying, and I'm older than you, and I knew about numerology before you did, and numbers, and everything you say is correct, and I appreciate you, and I just wanted maybe somebody to, I'm dying. I don't know what to say, but I appreciate you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, goodbye. Okay, goodbye.
Okay, you take care. If she's trolling, I mean, didn't she sound too old to be trolling? Well, we don't have anybody else on hold, so if you want to phone in, now is a good time. 213-233-3998. Most nights we can't make it through the callers, but tonight we just don't have enough callers. So, What else can we discuss that we haven't discussed already? Let me see. I guess the one Epstein thing they brought up here that's new is David Copperfield, and of course he's the famous magician in Vegas. Let's see what it has to say. Famed American magician David Copperfield allegedly had dinner with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and a few of his victims, according to court documents unsealed Wednesday. And again, the judge who's responsible for this, of course, she's a Jesuit who went to Fordham. Attorney Sigrid McCauley asked an accuser of Epstein, Johanna Joberg, and his former lover and accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, if she ever met Copperfield. Yes, she said, the document is part of a May 2016 deposition. Someone called me from the house and said that he would be there, and if I wanted to come have dinner, then I could meet him, Joberg said. So when I arrived at the house, he wasn't there yet, and there was another girl there which I had never met and never seen. She seemed young. Joberg then said Copperfield did some magic tricks at dinner and said he was a friend of Epstein's. Joberg said Copperfield, who was previously accused of sexually assaulting a teen model in 1988, questioned her whether she was aware that girls were getting paid to find other girls, the court document read. Did he tell you any of the specifics of that, Macaulay asked. No, Joberg said. Fox News Digital has reached out to Copperfield for comment. God. Isn't it just sad that just like the crap that they just keep people so invested in? Like all day the news media was counting down to this big release. And then there's nothing new as predicted, minus maybe this Copperfield thing, which sounds like absolutely nothing. But, okay, we did get a few more people to phone in. Let's go out to 905. 905, you're on.
Associated with Epstein.
Oh, hold on, 905.
Interesting to follow that.
Hold on. All right, 905, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to touch upon the list of Epstein, because I did some numbers referring to Bill Clinton, and he's mentioned as Doe 36, just like how judgment equals 36, and the word that rhymes with meadow and also tile is also 36. You know what I mean? And also, this is a ritual simply because they had said to everybody that they're going to release it on the list on
January 3rd?
January 2nd. Well, I thought they said they were going to release on January 2nd, but basically they released the redacted files with Bill Clinton first on New Year's Eve. And why that's so significant is because to the death of to the leaked emails of Hillary Clinton, like the anniversary on March 16th, that's 2 months and 2 weeks and also 2 days. And people probably got wind of it on New Year's Day, right? Because it was like at the end of the day. So from New Year's Eve to the death of the anniversary death of Jeffrey Epstein is 222 days. And then also the fact that the secret order that Bill Clinton belongs to, order of Demolay, equals 222, as well as order out of chaos. And the order of Demolay was said to be started by the last Grand Master of the Knights of Templars, just like how Knights of Templars equals 77, Bill Clinton's age is 77. United States equals 77, Secret Society equals 77, High Profile equals 77, Little St. James Island, where Epstein Island is said to be where it was located, that also equals 77. And also from New Year's Eve to the leaked emails, the anniversary, March 16th, is also 77 days as well.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, good research. Appreciate that.
But also the fact that if you count the days from New Year's Eve to Jeffrey Epstein's death, is also 223, just like how 2023 was the anniversary year of Skull and Bones, and just how Jeffrey Edward Epstein, his full name, equals 322 in reverse.
Right, 322.
And I also want to touch upon one of the callers before me had mentioned about where the name Israel came from. I don't know really what cuneiform he's referring to, but from my knowledge, the first mention of Israel is in a tablet of hieroglyphics called the Mer-Napata stele, and it's the first mention of the word Israel in reference to a people as a subcategory to the Canaanites, which their god is their chief god is El.
Right. Yeah, okay, good points. Appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night. All right, we had 5 more people phone in at the end. 215, you're on.
Hello? Hey, Jack. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. What's up?
I think the biggest problem we got is people do not want to get out of their comfort zone, and they will not wake up. This is what I've learned. I've been telling people stuff for 10 years, and none of them want to wake up.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
It's really amazing. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm at the point now where I don't even want to talk to these people anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people are in the same predicament.
It's crazy, man. So anyway, how you been, man?
Doing all right. So.
That's good. All right, boy. Thanks for taking my call, and don't give up.
Yeah, you don't give up either. That's the one thing we can't do. All right, appreciate it, friend. Stay strong. Yeah, you have a good night.
See you.
Yeah, it is frustrating, but we're going to keep pushing anyway. Let's go out to 260.
Hey, Zach, it's Rich.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, not much. I won't be but just a second. I'm not feeling well tonight, so I've been under the weather for about a month now.
Well, get some rest, man. It's already late out in your neck of the woods. Sleep it off.
It's not about rest. It's about my kidney issues. So I've been off work for like a month too. So, but no, I'm laying here resting and listening. And you guys said Joe Flacco debuted on November 20th.
He said that's the day that the Browns signed him on Biden's birthday. And again, he went to Delaware.
Whoa. Okay, I'm not going to predict the Browns are going to the Super Bowl, but what part did you guys miss? What's significant about November 20th? What's that look like?
I see what you're saying. 112, like Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's the date of the Super Bowl if you take the 0 off.
Sure, it is like February 11th. Okay, I follow.
Yeah, I found that kind of interesting. So
Jim Brown did die. Jim Brown did die before this season, and Jim Brown equals 104. And I did say a long time ago, you're going to see Jim Brown die before the Browns win the Super Bowl. And I mean, it's possible. All that Baltimore stuff could be connected to Cleveland. So
might want to put 10 bananas on the Browns just in case.
I told people that a long time ago, weeks ago, as a good hedge bet, just in case all the Baltimore stuff ends up being about Cleveland. Right now, Browns to win the Super Bowl pays 6-1. So if you put 20 bones down on them, it'd pay 120. Not a bad payout.
Yeah. Or just to appear, you can get them to appear there too, not just to win, but yeah. Yeah, not wrong with hedging.
Or no. I take it back. They pay 20-1 right now. If you put $20 on them, you'd win 400. Actually, they pay 20-1 right now. The Browns.
It might be 6-1 just to make it to the Super Bowl or something. Then.
Yeah. So.
But we know they put so many narratives out there every year. I mean, because of us. So, I mean, I don't try to predict it no more because I know there's 5 ways it can go. So.
Yeah.
Like the year, I thought when we went to Buffalo that year, I thought for sure it was going to be Brady versus Allen. Buffalo versus Tampa Bay, no doubt. And I rode that one all the way to the end.
Well, remember after the Buffalo shooting, though, we did have the Len Dawson death on Kobe Bryant Day, perfectly sync with the Super Bowl, and I told people then, I said, well, you better hedge with Kansas City because if it's not Buffalo, it's probably KC. So
yeah. No, I remember all that, but it was just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers putting that little, card or whatever, their little emblem in there with all the other cards and teddy bears and stuff.
That was weird.
That sold me right there.
That was weird that they did that.
But yeah, I'm not feeling well, Zach. Shout out to everybody out there supporting the work, and I appreciate you all. And I'm gonna jump off here.
All right, stay strong, Rich. Get better.
I'm trying. Thank you. Thank you. Later.
You have a good night. Let's go out to 909. 909, you're on.
Yo, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Doing good. I've been meaning to call you about this for a long time, but I don't know if you've ever seen, because I always hear you talk about like 1968 and 9/11. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you can look up May 2nd, 1968 WTC.
May 2nd, 1968. What?
WTC. It should pop up.
Oh, World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Oh,
It should be a one-page ad in the
I
New
see
York
it.
Times.
Crazy.
You see that? Yeah.
How perfect.
Yeah, one-page ad in the New York Times. That same exact day, there was a parade in Jerusalem.
That's the day that Osama bin Laden was supposedly killed in 2011, May 2nd.
Yeah. 2011, 201, and it's all 201s. But yeah, that same exact day, there was a parade in Jerusalem celebrating Israeli Independence Day.
What a joke, man. These people. Oh my God. Hey, that's a great catch. I never noticed that before.
Yeah. Pretty wild. I don't know if you've ever seen too about like the obelisk being the TV screen and how they built the Millennium Hilton Hotel. That kind of like resembles the obelisk. It's like this like long black like rectangular hotel. So as soon as ground zero goes down, these things just kind of like standing over it. Yeah, I mean that's what people are thinking, but I think it all correlates. It's all like one big ritual.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, great observation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, take care. How about that? Talk about predictive programming. Let's go out to 760.
Zach, what's going down? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
First time caller, long time listener. Love your work. 2 questions for you real quick. We have 4 major ciphers. The others are super intriguing. Which ones should truth seekers pay attention to?
Outside of the 4 base ciphers, Jewish Gematria is very important. Derek renamed it Latin Gematria on his calculator. I forget what he renamed English Extended, but it's color-coded yellow. It also produces bigger numbers. It's definitely noteworthy. Satanic Gematria is interesting. And Septenary and Chaldean. I'd say those are the most important ciphers outside of the base ciphers.
Yes. Secondly, I'm ready to join the Patreon, brother. Just wondering how us truth seekers in California online can place bets, and I will take my answer.
You gotta figure that one out. You got to figure that one out for yourself. There's ways to do it. So.
All right, much love. Thank you.
All right, yeah. Have a good night. Let's go out to 907. 907, you are on. 907, Alaska.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Now I do.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right, thank you.
Good to hear. I just wanted to call in. Really not kind of on topic per se. I guess it kind of is. I know that earlier you were talking about Joe Biden possibly taking a whiff early on in his presidency, and I was just running some information through Gematria, the breakdowns, and I was just typing in some stuff about Camilla Diva Harris. I'm sure you've done it yourself once before, but there was a 201 that I came across just now, and it's Camilla Diva Harris, the first female president of the USA. It's 201 in the full reduction. So I really just wanted to put that one out there in case you hadn't come across that 201 yet. Other than that, that's all I had for you.
I didn't have that. Interesting. Appreciate it.
Yeah, full name, the first female president of USA, not the United States of America, but yeah.
All right, you
appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, you keep up doing your good work, and hopefully I'll talk with you later on this year.
All right, sounds good. You have a good night. Dark days up in Alaska right now. Further north you go this time of year, the darker it is. Let's go out to 405. 405, you're on.
Hi, Zach.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
I was actually calling about, I'm kind of obsessed with the Epstein thing, and I was wondering if you may have talked about this. I don't get all your shows. I'm a first-time caller. But he won the lottery. I live in Oklahoma, and he won on July 2nd, 2008, he won the Oklahoma lottery. It's actually under his trust, the Zorro Trust. And I wonder why people don't ever talk about his huge ranch in New Mexico. All they ever talk about is his island, and not the big island above that one. He has another island that's even bigger. I don't know if he's even dead, but so supposedly he won that lottery, and he's actually, I don't know the other date, but he may have won it twice. And I don't know if the Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico, like owed him a favor or what. But I think the lottery's rigged. I've been trying to tell my dad. He's bad.
There's
He, like,
zero doubt that the lottery's rigged for these mega jackpots. Just for the record, I'm looking up the Epstein thing, and people say it's actually not true that he won the lottery. I haven't done enough research to say that it's not true. I just see that it's popping up right away. But you're all right. I know that he has the property in New Mexico as well. And yeah, the island is the greater focus. But I feel like go ahead.
I feel like I'm sorry, but I feel like that area out there is like a model for these billionaire bunkers that they're buying.
Sure.
Like I wish I knew right away I go to so many different websites, but they talk about, there's this place and he was an ambassador of it. And their whole thing is about transhumanism, and they have this big thing about, and you have to be a millionaire to even get a bunker like this, but they have all different kinds that go so far down into the ground, and people have done measurements on the island. But I think they know that he had like a strip club and a whole thing on the bottom of Zorro Ranch, but that place that looks like he has all symbols everywhere, but it's like huge. It looks like a landing pad, but it's not. It's just like rocks. And I think under that is probably one of those. And it's just like, I'm so sick of being lied to. And you feel so small when you figure out that you're just not even a part of this equation as a regular human being on this planet. It sucks.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get. I mean, it does suck, and I realized it a long time ago that they just treat us like we're animals out to pasture, and we're being raised for essentially their purposes. And a lot of people, that's the reason people don't want to wake up. They don't want to see that is the case, because then it doesn't feel that good to realize that. So.
No, not at all. But I really appreciate you taking my call. I don't want to take up a bunch of time, so I appreciate it.
Sure, you're welcome.
I wanted to talk about Meghan Markle's numbers, but I don't want to take up a bunch of time.
Well, we only have 10 seconds left to show, so if you want to spit out something real quick, you're actually the last caller. We got 10 seconds for you to close us out.
Okay, I just think it's weird that her numbers are 54 and then times 2, 108, and then times 2, 216. That's really odd to me. That doesn't usually happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was odd.
Yeah, she does got numbers for sure.
All right.
Yeah, you have a good night.
All right.
All right, take care.
You too.
And sorry to the people who just called in. We are out of show.
This is iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio.
Till next time, everybody.
Radio makes you want to move.
Okay, so that's TFR. And, yo, Richard, if you're still listening, man, take care of yourself. I know you got a serious health ailment. And, yeah, sleep's so important, my man. Sleep is so important, so make sure you're getting enough. But somebody said pretty good show. Yeah, it was okay. It was an okay show. We've had better, but we didn't have a whole lot of predictions. Indeed. Somebody says awesome show. All right, I like the optimism. We've had better shows, that's for sure. But yeah. We'll see if we got a DK Stonewood sighting here. He might very well call in. Okay, we do. We got a DK Stonewood sighting. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach. Feels like I haven't talked to you since last year.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
I think it was a decent show. The one caller that went to church on Saturday that was filibustering about the Bible kind of put everybody to sleep. So maybe we could try to wake everybody back up. Did you already did the earthquake in LA as same day as Japan, right?
Yeah, the old 4.1.
What what I was wondering is the time on that. I think it was 8:27 a.m. for LA. I felt it in bed. I just went back to sleep. I kind of felt it and just was monitoring how long it was going to be. And then once it stopped, I was like, oh, that's nothing for LA. So I went back to bed. But they said 8:27 in the morning, and I was like, 8:27 isn't Japan like 12 hours ahead of us, making it like 10:27 their time, which would be another 1:27, like the Pearl Harbor Day, which Japan is allegedly responsible for.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Interesting. Yeah, and again, just to remind people, they said Japan's happened at 4:10 p.m. local time, which is 16:10 military time, but 4:10 is a lot like a 4.1. LA equals 41, Los Angeles equals 161, and then you just had the big Ohtani move from the Angels to the Dodgers, and his birthday's 7.5 to go with the 7.5 in Japan. And again, we've seen it a number of times before, sports and earthquakes. In the World Series, the 1989 World Series earthquake's a really good example. But yeah, no doubt some high ritual there on New Year's Day. So.
And then, LA is known for the Rosicrucian Parade, or the Rose Parade, and the Rosicrucian Bowl, Rose Bowl. And then, so who won the Rose Bowl?
Michigan.
What big time guy that we talk about all the time went to Michigan?
Are you talking about Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing synced with him. Again, it was 24 years to the day of him beating Alabama in overtime. Or, yeah, Michigan beat Alabama in overtime 24 years to the day. It's just, it's a joke.
Did you see what Tom Brady did in tribute to that?
What did he do?
Open up your email.
Hold on. Oh, we actually talked about this before the game. He posted that before the game. Yeah, the Skull and Bones watch.
Yeah.
That was on his Instagram before the game. I actually had somebody call into my stream, and he thought that was the sign that Michigan was winning, and he was right. So.
Oh, that was on your sports stream?
Yeah, and he posted lock in, and it ended up being a lock. And again, I mean, Tom Brady's 46. It was all about 46 that game, and they won it with the 46 points in overtime. Well, then they kicked the extra point too, but the touchdown put it away. So,
I got a question for you. Does May 1st or May Day? What does that equal in Gematria?
I don't know. Let me see.
Is it 201 by any chance?
May 1st or May Day? Well, let's see.
One or the other. I don't know which. I guess you could look it up both ways, right? What would you
May 1st has the gematria of 105, like Order of Illuminati, and 51, like Adam Weishaupt, who's the founder of the Illuminati, on May 1st. So that's interesting about May 1st. And May Day actually has 69, also like Illuminati. So you got some Illuminati, and 93 like Order of Illuminati. That's actually kind of interesting. So
I was thinking, because May Day or May 1st is actually 201, because, like Oct means 8, so October is actually the 8th month. Nove is November, and that should be the 9th month. And Deca is the 10th. So there, on the 13-month calendar, there would be 3 months after December. So, January, February, March would be 11, 12, 13. So then April would start the new year, April Fools. I think that's probably why they call it April Fool's Day, because all the fools think, they don't realize it's New Year's Day, actually. So that would make, April Fool's Day would be 1-1. And then, May 1st, May Day would be 2-1 or 201, So I wonder if that has anything to do with their stuff. And what were you saying? Is there a lot of stuff that 52, does 52 come up a lot?
sure it does. I mean, it's even part of the Epstein ritual today, but 52 is big with Kabbalah and the Cabal and authority and government and the calendar. And
because 51, is a lot of different things about 51. 51% of the population, Area 51, which is actually Silo 1. It's not even a 5, it's an S, but
wait,
it's been called
what's your thing about 51% of the population? Are you just saying like a majority, or?
Right, like that's what it takes to beat the Cabal. We have to get 51% of the, or at least by their math, we need a majority, which we're so far away from getting, and they keep pitching us this 100 monkey syndrome, or like if we get like 10%, or I forgot what's the term for that, critical mass, stuff like that. But the based on the way pyramid energy works. You basically pyramid energy works off of Schumann resonance, which is what we call gravity, which is perpetual motion. It's a perpetual thing. The earth is spinning, which creates the Schumann resonance, which is basically everything's operating off of toroidal fields, which is centrifugal and centripetal force. But they found out that on the earth, if you erect a pyramid perfectly, the sides facing perfectly north, east, south, and west, it'll start resonating. And then based off of that, you can start drawing energy from it if you can, figure out how to harness that. Also inside, you will get certain, vibrational effects, which if you can tune it, which is what all the different chambers in the pyramid are for, you can get different health benefits and spiritual benefits from it. But they figured out that on Earth, the perfect angle to extract energy from is 51.5 degrees. So the Egyptian pyramid is exactly 51.5 degree, right in between 51 and 52. And then, we already know how important, the Egyptian pyramid is and all their symbolism and such. So I was thinking maybe that had, that's why they use 51 and 52 a lot as well.
Yeah, it could be. That's interesting.
Let me see, what else did I have written down? Oh yeah, I mentioned who that guy was talking about. That guy was bagging on Jason Brashear's, who I called out, fake Jew channel right when people first started mentioning on it. But man, he mentioned the name like 100 times throughout that thing, kind of like he was saying about mentioning man. I was like, is he promoting the guy now just by mentioning the name so much? But yeah, that guy's obviously another shill channel. Let me just go into the health stuff, since you were talking about it a little bit this week. So you talked about the jumping on the trampoline. They call that rebounding. That's actually very helpful, for your health and your digestion. And they recommend that a lot for old people to, just get on one of those. They even have the ones made for old people now, which have like a railing they can hold on to so they don't tip over and fall. But since old people can't actually jump, they can kind of just bob up and down on those little circular trampolines, and it helps their digestion and their circulation and all that. So that's definitely healthy if you're not doing. My neighbor had one of those kind of like professional trampolines, the big net around it and everything. That was I think it was like a 16-footer. I can't remember, but we used to launch up higher than the second story of the house on that thing. It was dangerous. If you actually flew off and landed in the yard, you'd probably break every bone in your body.
Sure.
But yeah, that's actually pretty healthy. And then you're talking about how your mom and like her just general state of mind throughout her life and your life. And she comes from the same, our parents are from the same generation, these boomer children, baby boomer, and they're known for, they're going, as it stands right now, maybe it's possible somebody will beat them out, but as it stands right now, they're going down on paper as the dumbest generation that ever walked planet Earth, just suffering from immense ego entrenchment and just heavy narcissism. And most people don't even really know what the word narcissism means, but that's why they didn't plan for all this shit to be going down right when these baby boomer children, who are the most fucked up, have basically all the money and the property, and they're going to make all the worst decisions. So that they didn't plan this out like this, it didn't happen on accident. This was all planned out. They're a generation who benefited from just the expansion of the money supply and inflation. So, some of them bought houses for 200,000 that are now like 1.2 million and such. So it's no accident that they are from, that they're the ones with the money right now, and their children, the way it looks, will never ever even be able to own a home and can probably barely afford to rent one, but everybody and their mom, 25 to 50% of the work I do talking to people and trying to help them out is dealing with their boomer parents, and just how behind the eight ball they are because of these fuck ups, and they're the first generation that didn't plan for their retirement. This is why the, taking care of old people industry is just absolutely exploded, in the last like 10, 15 years because of these boomers. They're the first one, and a lot of them don't even have the money, to fund their own retirement. So they're the first generation to be like that. And the cabal attacked them with all, from all angles. They were the first generation that went to government school. They were the first generation with the worldwide vaccine schedule, and they were the first generation with television. So they just came at them from all angles, and boy did they get them. They're all pretty screwed up. I know from my family and my friends and acquaintances that all tell me about it, and you're just another notch, that of proof about it. And we know. Your mom blocked me for giving her alternative information regarding certain things she thought. So we kind of, no offense, but we know she's not fully there mentally, but she is correct about the urine therapy, believe it or not. So my prediction before the TFR was nobody who has any experience with urine therapy is going to call in, but a bunch of people with anecdotes from Google are going to chime in on it, which, I think only one or two people talked about it, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But, urine therapy does work coming from somebody who has done it. I'm not currently doing it right now, but, and it's not for any of the reasons that have been mentioned. So, Kobe's allegedly dead and retired and all that, but not just him, other athletes, Brett Favre, they were known for going over to Germany or Turkey or these other countries and doing PRP for recovery. You familiar with PRP?
No.
Platelet rich plasma. They draw your blood and then they centrifuge it and then they pull out certain healing aspects of it, which has like stem cells and T cells and all that stuff in it, and then they inject it back into your body at the site of the injury. So here in America, they haven't approved the natural way. They only do it the synthetic way, where they add some synthetic stuff to it and then do it. Lance Armstrong got busted for basically a version of PRP. It wasn't basically what they would do is, they would take your blood for these cyclists anyways. They would take your blood when it's rich in oxygen. They would draw your blood, and then they would centrifuge that and isolate, the really oxygenated portion of the blood. And then they would have those vials just sitting there for, however long. And then you would run, you would bike for a leg of the Tour de France, meaning all the oxygen's been pulled out of your blood, and it's going to take your body, it's like running a marathon. You're not going to run one every day. It takes you like a week to recover. Same thing with the leg of, these cycling events. So then, he's done with the leg, whether he's wearing the yellow jacket or not, he comes back to his hotel, then they re-inject, blood that they already had, that's fully oxygenated right back into him. So he's technically already recovered. He's ready to go right then again. So that's why they can cycle day after day, Tour de France or whatever tour it is. And it just seems like these guys aren't tired. And then, some normal cyclists try to do that, you literally die. It's just impossible. And then when they caught him, he's like, but wait, everybody's doing this. Just like what they said in baseball about, who they care, was it Canseco or whatever? It's like, everybody's doing it. What's the point of singling me out and busting me? Or who were they? Was it they're busting Mark McGuire and Sammy? I can't even remember now.
Sure, steroids, right?
Yeah. So, same thing Lance Armstrong said. Everybody's doing it. I'm not really gaining any kind of advantage. That's just part of the sport. But so pulling stuff out of your, pulling your blood out and then re-injecting it back in is a big thing now. They've even perfected PRP. It's now called like PRF, which is a little bit more dialed in. But so if you look at that when they do it, like if you had it done, sometimes they'll do it right there on site, and they do it a lot for cosmetics too. They'll draw your blood, then they'll re-inject it into your face instead of putting artificial fillers and all these other things. They just, PRF is platelet-rich fiber. So they, instead of platelet-rich plasma, so they even fractionate the plasma down a little bit more and create like a gel, and then they start re-injecting it back into your face into spots where you're getting hollows from aging or from fat pad loss and from, collagen production loss and whatever. So so you'll be sitting there, they'll draw your blood, and then, they'll put it in the expensive centrifuge or whatever and spin it at whatever frequency it needs to be spun at to get it, and then re-inject it back into your face, half hour later. So if you look at it, once they, centrifuge your blood, they're pulling this yellow stuff out. It looks exactly like piss. So that's exactly why urine therapy does what it does, because it's got like stem cells and T cells in there that can actually heal your body through kind of like, since you'd be drinking it, it'd be like, part of your diet, like adding collagen peptides to your diet when you're, past 35, 40 years old to, kind of boost the uptake of that. So your kidneys have already filtered the urine, so it's clean and it's perfect pH for your body. So, drinking water's not at the exact pH of everybody's body, slightly different. So, I mean, there's countless and countless people on YouTube. Maybe a lot of them have been deleted by now, but this is already, I've known about this for 20 years probably. There's people that, move out off the grid and stuff, and, they don't even drink water anymore. I know that the lady that lives in Costa Rica, she's got I forgot the name of her channel, but she's like, she considers water like trash, like what people would consider urine. Like you would never drink that. She's like, I only drink my own urine. Why would I, go spend money or effort trying to go get, water from a stream and all that when I already have this water that my body's already purified. And then when you keep doing it over and over again, it's like a cycle. You're putting it through your body and then re-drinking it back, so it gets like purified more and more each time. And women even use it for skincare, like they rub it all over their face. It makes wrinkles go away. I mean, there's all kinds of different uses. In Croatia, as kids, we were taught when we step on a sea urchin and you got the thorn in your foot, you pee on your foot. You would see kids pulling out their junk right on the beach. It's, all the beaches, it's pretty.
Well, I was reading the same thing today about jellyfish sting. Like that's something that your urine will literally stop as the sting.
That too.
So
and all the stuff you come out of the ocean with any injury, like sea urchin or, my island was particularly known. We get like jellyfish invasion, man. You can't go in the water. It's insane. But yeah, that you pee on your foot and your body somehow excretes the thorn that broke off from the sea urchin. It's just, I mean, I don't even know the explanation of that still to today, but it does work. I've done it on myself multiple times. Bee stings, all kinds of different stuff. So I would recommend to that guy, was it Jay with Open Eyes with the kid, try urotherapy. I mean, I usually don't like to lead with that because people think you're crazy. Just like when you lead with Gematria, people may discount you right off the bat because they think you're nuts, instead of coming at them from like maybe something a little softer, easier to understand that doesn't require like maybe half their brain, and then lead into the Gematria after that where they actually have to do some math and use their brain a little bit more. But I've done it before in the past many times. The healthiest urine you have is first pee in the morning midstream. So if you're gonna be putting it in mason jars in your refrigerator, which I recommend because it tastes much better cold. It tastes somewhat like cranberry juice, but without any of the sweetness. It's a little bit tart. And I mean, people age it for months and it's got more profits, kind of like fermenting stuff, so people have it in their fridge. And I mean, I've seen memes before where they're like, if you're ever over a girl's house and you open her refrigerator and she's got mason jars full of her own pee, she's a keeper, So it definitely works. I mean, you're obviously right. Your mom's doing a bunch of other stuff that are way easier to take care of, like stop eating junk food, like you said, eating bags of chips and shit. But it's definitely beneficial. Even if she still continues to eat the shit that she is, it'll still help her out. But I mean, obviously, if I'm recommending to somebody, I would, first take all the easy stuff off before you get to the stuff that's a little bit harder, But
Sure.
Coming from somebody who's actually done it before, no, it doesn't make you sick or anything like that. It's not like, you're pissing out a bunch of impurities and then you're re-drinking them back. That's not how it works, It's actually super healing. And, the fact that that's why when you go out and pee in your garden, you're fertilizing your garden. And then, you have other animals like cats and dogs, you don't necessarily want them peeing in your garden because their pee is too acidic. So it actually can,
Well, plants consume nitrogen, though. There's a lot of nitrogen in your urine. I mean, I don't.
Right.
So.
That's exactly what it's for. But it's also the pH. The pH is really good. And that's like, if you look at skin creams and such, they're always trying to get it like to the exact pH of human skin to be the most beneficial, because then your skin doesn't try to fight it. It basically, it just opens up the doorways, to absorb, so certain creams that have like certain acids in it and stuff that your skin may try to protect itself against, they put other things in there like pH balancers and stuff that'll make the pH a little bit more like. So I like goat milk soap, and a lot of these like goat milk is put into these products that go on your skin because a goat's pH is very similar to ours, and the milk is similar to human breast milk. So the urine therapy does work. I know it sounds insanely gross and all that, but I mean, when I first heard about it, probably like 10 to 15 years ago, I was like, fuck that. I don't care how good it is. I'm not drinking piss, man. That's just like, that's shit we used to do to fuck with people when they get drunk at parties. We'd like pee in the beer bottles and then just give it to them to drink it like, like it's beer, or like mix, has like a quarter of the beer left, and then you pee in there and give them a half a beer and let them drink it. And even to girls, then, everybody that knows it happens busting up laughing, but lo and behold, it does actually work. And if you got any like actual, I'm not talking about like something acute, like, you get a cold or a sniffle, but if you have like an actual thing that's progressed into what we would call like a disease, like chronic symptoms, like the Jay with open eyes guy, it'll definitely help you out. I would definitely try that. Go try a fast with just drinking your urine for like 3 days and see what happens. Your eyes will change color. It'll clear you out so much. Which I noticed it as well. I didn't do as much of a fast. I kind of just incorporated it into I did like a 1 day fast with all that, but I was so hungry. I'm not good at fasting because I just lose weight and get hungry so fast. But my brother's done like fast for like 30 days, 40 days, lose like 15, 20 pounds. So, but yeah, I definitely would recommend it. Your mom's on the right track, but she should definitely get some of those other things under control, either before or, at the same time as doing the urine therapy.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it is interesting. She wants to do it for arthritis. There are a lot of testimonials online that urine therapy helped with people's arthritis, and then I was thinking, well, power of mentalism, but we'll see. So.
Yeah, and the iodine that the kid was talking about, the reason they took iodine out of the diet, which is like in the 50s or 60s, they took iodine out of the American diet. There's two components to iodine. It's iodide and iodine. One controls your thyroid function, which keep you trim instead of being a fatso, and the other one cleans your blood. So if you look at pictures from back like in the 70s at the beach, everybody's like lean and tan, and then you look at it now, people are wearing like shirts and shorts in the water because they're like orcas, they're so fat. So this is why everybody started getting fat once they took the iodine out of the diet, and then also all these fibroids in women's breasts that gets misdiagnosed as breast cancer started appearing because the iodine cleans your blood, so they're not, it builds up on where your lymph nodes are, which is in the armpit, and for women, in their breasts. So then they feel a little hard thing. Oh, you got cancer, which is actually just a little bit backup of the, the lymphatic drainage system. So that's common right now with people that have taken taken the clot shot. They're getting a lot of fibroids like from in their armpits and in your boob. You don't feel it right away if it's deep inside, but that these like quote unquote turbo cancers people are talking about. So
yeah, well, hey, sweet lady's got 2 new examples at work. Somebody's dead in their mid-30s in their sleep that just happened the other day, and then another coworker who's only in her late 20s has breast cancer now. So
Well, if she's going to go with the, with the medical system, they'll chop her boob off and radiate her and chemo her. If she's interested in actual, healing, tell her to get on an iodine supplement. And, you can get a lot of iodine from the ocean, like stuff like, sea moss and chlorea, spirulina, dulse. Those things are really, really good. But yeah, a good iodine supplement. I mean, that'll be gone. She probably got diagnosed with the same way they do it to everybody. And there's a blood test you can do for cancer. It's less than $100. It's like $60, $70 or whatever. But of course, they never offer that. The only thing they want to do for testing for cancer is biopsy. And for biopsies, they need to inject this fluid, which is like a blue tinted fluid. And they found that the Nazi pharmaceutical company that makes that fluid, that actually is a cancer-causing fluid, which is like, they tested it in petri dishes, because there were certain, holistic practitioners where people would come to them and, they were fine. And then they would go get a biopsy and then come back and then they actually have the cancer. So then they got some samples of this fluid and tested it. They realized it would convert cells into carcinomas super fast. So they actually give you cancer with the biopsy. So if she's already had one of those, they put some cancer causing shit in you, but definitely, iodine is a good way to fight cancer. Also, I heard you say, sweet lady is a fan of Ancient Aliens. Shit, she should definitely be following my stuff then, because Ancient Aliens is like, that controlled opposition stuff is like RFK stuff compared to your stuff or something. You know what I mean? Like it's so whitewashed, and people that they have launched, activated certain sleeper cells or these, misinformation agents just because of stuff that I have said to, run like a parallel misinformation confusion campaign to my work. But the ancient, and one of the callers earlier, I kind of liked what he said, but I can't remember. I just remember him talking about like, the alien invasion and the what's the hack that they're saying is going to happen, the cyber attack. That very well could be linked too. They could blame this fake, the cyber attack on the fake aliens as well. We can't discount that out either. That could very well be the case. But he was talking about the whole like gray alien. That's a huge psyop. But when they shot down those craft in Roswell for messing with the launch computers for the nukes, those beings that walked out and were just roaming around aimlessly, those aren't actually like species or race of ETs. Those are actually clones that the Pleiadians use to do certain things on hostile planets in case something does happen, like their craft gets shot down, and they're only operating with like a second density plant type consciousness that can only just perform basic tasks. That's why, like, when they shot that down, then they were trying to question those falsely called Zeta Reticuli Greys about they didn't even know how to respond or anything. There was no response or no communication with them because they weren't set up for that. So that was actually a positive race that was down here operating, monitoring so they don't launch any more nukes, and shutting off the launch computers, which has been on mainstream news. It was even on like Larry King and stuff, where they're like, why are aliens shutting down United States nuclear you can look that stuff still on YouTube, but it's so old, most people they don't even know who Larry King is. But that stuff was on mainstream news like 30-40 years ago. It's not it's not like what you would call like some new age stuff that they're just coming out with now. So that's kind of a little short explanation on that. There are some beings that are working with the U.S. military, actually, that all the militaries of the world, of course, you notice all the militaries wear the same uniforms. But the U.S. military is working with these beings that are like called the tall whites. They're just slightly more pale skinned than we are, but they look very human. And people I've seen some videos which appear to be some of these beings where they look just like a human, but just slightly a little bit funny, Sometimes around some of the politicians, people will isolate a video. They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Doesn't this guy look very strange?" And he's like almost like too pale skin. Almost looks like albino or something really weird. But from what I understand, those are called the Omegans, and they have a lot of these Omega symbols on those chemtrail planes from like 10 years ago. I don't know if they're still doing that, but people isolated those planes from regular planes, and they're like, look, they have an Omega symbol on them for some reason. And then they didn't know why that was, but I had already known about these alleged tall white Omegan race, which I don't know where exactly they would be from, but I mean, they talk about this alpha and omega, like God being, or the false God being the alpha and the omega, and they claim the reptilians would be like from Alpha Draconis or whatever, and then if these are the Omegans, that could be the alpha and omega right there. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
All right, very interesting. I got to ask you one question before you go about your urine therapy treatment that you did. How long did it last, and what were you treating?
No, nothing. I mean, I've never had anything really, but I'm always trying different stuff that's, but I've tried it multiple times. I've done it where, I'll do it for like a month where like, I'll still be eating my regular diet, working out, doing everything, not even fasting, but just throughout the day, I'll drink about, maybe like 12 ounces of my own urine. I would store it in the fridge. So I'd always have like, maybe a mason jar or two, and it tastes the best fresh. The more you age it, the more like bitter it gets, kind of like, I guess, beer or wine or anything fermented, the more it gets more bitter as you age it. But I was just doing it when I was first when I first learned about like all the stuff about how our food is killing us. That started in like 2008, 2009. I really started making changes to my diet, cutting out certain things. And then by 2012, 13, I was like, vegetarian, and then, just constantly kind of fine tuning it. But, I know, I was still playing soccer and basketball on teams at that time. And I did notice a little bit of, little speedier recovery. Like sometimes playing I would play indoor soccer like 2 days a week, and man, that shit was hurting my lower back because the field is too hard. I'm used to playing on real grass, so playing on some of those, turf fields, my lower back would just be hurting, kind of like tennis makes your lower back hurt. It's a hard surface and you're bent over a little bit too much, you're not standing upright enough, so it ends up pounding on your lower back. Whereas like basketball, you're on a hard court too. You're bent over, and it ends up messing your lower back and your knees up over a long period of time. But I just even somebody who doesn't have anything wrong with them, I try to just experiment. So I'd be like the worst case scenario because I don't have any ailments, so it's very hard to see like little improvements here or there. If you got something wrong with you and then all of a sudden you're better, I mean, you're gonna be like, oh shit, it works, But I've heard a lot of stories from people who I know very well that, did it for like a week, almost eating nothing and just urine therapy, and especially women, helps their hormones and a lot of stuff.
All right. All right. Well, thanks, DK.
All right, Zach.
All right, man. You have a good night.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, see you. Yeah, my mom said tomorrow's the big day, and I could have never predicted for 2024. This would be her latest solution, but we'll see. We'll see. I was just trying to read about where she was getting this information from. It turns out there's a lot of stuff online about people claiming that urine therapy solved their arthritis, and whatever. She can make her own decisions, so we will see. We will see if it does the trick. Okay, yeah, I see your text, Rich. After being on antibiotics, once you're over that problem, make sure you get your gut bacteria back to good. So I'd get some fermented foods in your diet once you're done with the antibiotics, because that'll kill all your good gut bacteria. So. Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there for now. Again, thank you to everyone who hit the like and the share. Thanks to all the calls tonight. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on my mom's new experiment. So if she goes through with it, that's part of the part. Like, okay, we'll see if when you got the glass of the yellow, your own yellow, if you're gonna go through with it. Ugh. Last resort. Yeah, I guess that is the one of the benefits. It's definitely very affordable. It's an affordable treatment if it works. So, all right, guys, have a good rest of your evening, and till next time, Truth Seeker.